this. All right. So welcome to prep numero 3, our third prep, and this is going to be a very strong focus on training. I know there's a couple people that were invited, and this could be your first time streaming in. So for anyone who hasn't met me formally, my name is Kathy Kristen, and I am the division manager for the Gulf Coast. So super excited to be with you guys. I know we've got Northwest Houston, most of those guys, and West Houston here in the house. We've got other people streaming in from the other offices, but really excited to have you guys here with us today. And I want to say I'm so stoked for the 30-something of us going to Olean on Thursday. I actually leave at 5 a.m. tomorrow. We've got meetings for the division managers. And guys, we have such a great agenda. All the DVMs have been working so hard for you guys. And I don't know if you guys got a chance or if you got the email with the communication of what's going down. But you guys get there on Thursday, and there'll be transfers over to a place called Good Times. There'll be food waiting for you guys. We have free bowling starting at 9:30 p.m. So it's a really cool, fun, billiards and bowling and bar area. So we'll be hanging out there. And then whenever you're ready, there's going to be shuttles going back to the hotel for you to get some rest and be ready to rock. Next day, somewhere around 8 a.m., we check out of the hotel. It has the exact time. And the buses take us over to the factory. So we'll check out of that hotel. So Thursday night, we stay in Olean, New York. So we're actually there in Olean. So when you guys land, you actually go from Buffalo to Olean. And so when you get to Olean, you'll meet at Good Times, hang out, play, connect with everybody, and then get some rest. Next morning, we're up in the morning, ready to rock to the factory. And guys, the factory is a long day. So I do want to make sure that everyone is focused and ready to roll when we get there. And when we go, by the way, if you have anything you want refurbished, any Cutco you want sharpened, fixed, anything for you, yourself, or any customers, you can bring that with you, not on your carry-on. But as long as you check in a bag, you can put it in your check-in bag, and you can bring them to the factory and just leave them there, and then they'll send them back to you. You'll leave them with some things they'll have ready, and some things most of the time they just mail out. So just so you guys know that. So we go to the factory in the morning. We have a welcome speech. There's factory tours. It'll all be split up different ways. And I think around 4 is when we're back over at Good Times for our actual dinner and presidential address. And so Mr. Jim Stitt Jr. will be addressing us. And so we have the push countdown. By the way, the push goes all the way until we're there on Friday. We have people even during the factory closing sales with past customers. If you have not sent your holiday emails, please do so ASAP. But tomorrow through Friday, you guys should be following up with people. Must be on Rolo to count for the push. So you can Rolo on your phone, obviously, when we're there, but everything must be on Rolo, but the push goes all the way until Friday. So push countdown and everything will be there. And then I believe around 7:30, we wrap up there in Olean. We get on the buses and we head towards Niagara Falls. So that's about an hour and a half or so. So we'll be on charter buses. Those who do $10,000 for the push, they have a private limo with Lloyd and Brian, which will be a ton of fun. So they will hang out limo night style. And then the rest of the guys will take a nap or hang out on the buses on the way to Niagara Falls. We get to Niagara Falls that night. We are at the U.S. side. You can go across to Canada, whatever. I wouldn't go crazy that night. It's a fun night to say hi, connect with people, whatever you do. Get to bed at a reasonable hour. Saturday is so freaking huge for you guys and for your future and for your offices. We've got a power-packed agenda. Starts at 7 a.m., by the way, 7 a.m. And so and we did it earlier so that everyone can get out and go play and enjoy Canada and enjoy Niagara. We're done by 1:45 p.m. and then it's free time the rest of Saturday. So there's nothing after 1:45 p.m. On Saturday. Except DMCs. DMCs have a special dinner with Lloyd at 7 p.m. Everybody else, we're going to meet at 2:30. So everyone can go back to the rooms, put your stuff down, change, get in your warm clothes, and then we'll walk everyone can walk to the U.S. side. We'll take group pictures. So we'll go on a little walk over to Niagara Falls on the U.S. side, a couple cool spots to see, and then we'll come back. And then those who have a passport, a passport ID card or a birth certificate, everyone can walk with us because it's actually really cool, the view when you're on, when you cross the bridge over the Canada side, which we can all walk that. It's not until you get to the end that you have to go through the customs. And if you don't have proper identification. You can't cross over into Canada, but the views from that side are freaking awesome. And they light up the falls. And so once it's dark, it's like a rainbow, like they have lights on them and stuff. And it's beautiful. So I would say come walk with us. Even if you can't get them, you guys can walk back. And there's going to be a place. There's a little like bar right near the hotel that has like a live band. They have like 1 or 2 pool tables, dancing and pizza that I know like the guys who don't have passports and stuff, I know from a couple of the other divisions, they're all going to be there at like 7. So people will be getting their 6:37 to that bar who are not in Canada. Those who come over to Canada, there's a really cool spot that I used to go to every single year since I was younger. By the way, if you're in Houston, you can still go get a passport ID card tomorrow. You go down to the like downtown, and that's like done on the day. Just so you guys know. So if you still wanted to get it, you still could get it same day. But
no, you have to have a passport to cross.
Or passport ID. Like they have like an ID card versus a whole passport.
Oh, so I can see that.
Right. So you can go get that. But there's a really cool spot over in, that I went to every single year growing up in the business and only in over 10 years that I would go to this place. And it's like freaking huge. I don't know. It's like a restaurant / Dave Buster's mix, but it's not like as big as that, but there's just like mini bowling, like little pins, like mini bowling place, a bunch of pool tables, like arcade, a big bar area. Everyone's like hanging out and stuff. So it's a really cool place. So we'll go over there and everyone can like, order food, hang out, and then we'll come back over. So some people will stay over on the Canadian side. And then I'll be coming back over probably around 9 and come connect with the guys who don't go over there at that bar. Cause we're usually there till like, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night or something. So they have like the live music. Like I said, they have games playing. And so it's a cool little sports bar that everyone's at on the US side, usually on Saturday night. So have fun. And then Sunday, you guys, everyone flies out on Sunday. All right. So making sure, by the way, this is not just, it's a fun trip, but it's also like an interview. You're being watched by in corporate, when we're at the corporate headquarters, when we're at the hotel. Eastern region will also be at the same hotel on Friday night and Saturday night, which is my old region. So they're going to be there too. So you have a chance to meet some people from another region as well. I think it's kind of cool. So they're going to be there. They have their meetings on Saturday when we do in one of the other rooms at the same convention center. So usually 2 regions at the same time. Last 2 years it's been with Western. This year is with Eastern. So that'll be really cool. So just so you guys know. So make sure to look at that email so you know what to bring. Warm clothes. All right. Make sure you have stuff to refurbish. Passport ID card or your passport. Birth certificate. Some people have been able to get across, but like there's no guarantees. It just depends who you're seeing on the way back. They could be super hardcore and be like, no. Or they're like, yeah, that's fine. So that's the plan over there so you guys know. But definitely work hard to finish that push strong. So I wanna dive in I can't wait for you guys to get to go. I still wanted to have a prep. People are like, oh, we're stopping prep even though we're going to Olean. I'm like, well, not everyone's going to Olean, and there's still a lot for us to cover on our own to make sure that we're where we need to be. And I know there's a lot of people that are a little bit behind, and so first I want to say everybody who's on here, everyone in all the offices, at school, streaming in, I want to commend you guys because again, you don't have to be doing this. There's other things you can be doing. You guys are sacrificing time. You guys are making a decision during many of you during college to take on a bigger responsibility, to grow yourselves. There's a lot of people in college who are just like partying, getting drunk every day and not doing anything. I squeeze a little bit of that in once or twice a week and then like got my stuff done, and so you can still party, you can still get everything, but for you guys to make a decision to say, I want to set myself up for later, like I really want to set myself apart. And you're doing stuff right now that other people won't, so you can do later what others can't, and I think that's a really big thing to always remember and give yourselves a pat on the back for, it's like, it's a big deal for you to say, I really want to grow myself. I really want to stand out from others. All right. And with the training, one of the things that, we've talked about going through GCLA, like our goal is to help you guys stand out the most, earn the most, financially, so have the biggest opportunities. I think about those who get a chance to run their own offices next summer. Like you get an opportunity, you get paid off your office and everything, but you get a chance to make 50% commissions all of July, August, September. That is freaking huge for you stacking away money. Absolutely huge. Those of you going through this program now, putting yourself in a position to be lead assistant managers, those who are AMITs, putting yourself in the best roles to be able to maximize coaching, leading others, preparing yourself for that, field training, and really going out and maximizing your opportunity this next summer. And so wherever you're at, whatever you're on the path for, I will tell you this, right now, some of you guys might feel like, man, I'm not on pace for branch right now. By the way, right now, 2002, I wasn't either, okay? Just so you know, I was in London right now, partying. I hadn't even been to any preps yet. My first prep was on December 21st, okay? And I remember because it was the day before my brother's birthday, and I was like, my brother's birthday's tomorrow, we're gonna hang out. And my manager's like, hey, I'd really love for you to come to this. I know you've been gone all fall, but I think that, you know, it's something that you might really like, or you might not, but I'd love for you to check it out. And we had gone to lunch, and I was like, sure, John, I'll go. You know, and he's like, it's really good for your resume, Kat, you're graduating this year, and I think it'd be good for you to check it out. You know, and I remember going to that meeting on the 21st. Wes Melcher was the division manager at the time. He went through, and I remember he quoted the Lose Yourself song by Eminem, right? And he was talking about, you got one shot, da, 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 and he's like reading the lyrics. And I just remember like it resonating so much. And I was just like, you know what, I have a chance to do something freaking amazing that not everyone gets to do, you know? Like I have one shot right now that they're offering me to go out and at 20 years old, go run my own freaking business for a, you know, multi-million-dollar company. Like, does every 20-year-old get that shot? Like, no, hell no, you know? And I remember listening to him go through those lyrics. And I remember him saying, like, you know, success is my only a mother effing option, right? That's the edited version. Failure's not. And I was just like, hell yeah. Every time I hear that part of the song, it fires me up. Like in Eastern region, that's a song they always put when I came up. When I had a really big talk at a conference, a couple of my guys, they know all the words. Mary Lou, Karina, Taylor Max, they'd sing it all to me outside and be like, boom. And they like put the music and just like a cappella. And I was just like, all right, let's go. Let's do this shit. And I'm like, all right, let's go. But it would pump me up, you know, because I would just think, and I would get so teary-eyed thinking about it. I'm like, man, so crazy. Like, where would my life be right now if I hadn't taken that shot? I have no idea. And I'll get very emotional thinking about that, but it's like, holy shit. Like where I was, you know, I did stupid shit in high school. I got expelled twice. My sophomore and senior year of high school, I was expelled. You know, like I lost different opportunities. Thank God I had angels all around me. And I was, you know, like I was still set up where I lost things, but the private school I went to, our headmaster went to our church, was a deacon with my dad, and he hooked it up. And so even though they kicked me out, they didn't put it on my record, and they told the public school that I needed to transfer because they didn't offer that many AP classes, and I wanted more AP classes. And so I was able to graduate with more college credit hours earned and not hurt, you know, my scholarship opportunities for college, which was huge, you know, and that was such a blessing. But I just remember not really knowing like where I was going or what I wanted to do, you know, like being a little bit lost when I was in college. Even when I started Cutco, when I did my demo, some of you guys are like, I want to be an orthopedic surgeon. I want to do this. I want to do that. And you have such specifics as to where you want to go and what you want to do. And I think about for those who don't, you know, like I had no idea. I knew I wanted to lead people. I knew I wanted to own companies. I knew I wanted to leave an impact, you know, and like really like impact the world. I did a lot of missions since I was like 12 years old, from my middle school choir at church, you know, high school. We like did things with like soup kitchens. We traveled around. I remember driving to Tennessee and doing like Christian musicals, like malls and stuff, like a little like skit, you know, and singing. And it was a big part of my life, and I went to a Christian college as well. So it was always like something that I did, and I really loved doing mission work. I loved when I lived in Belize. I loved when I lived in Romania. I worked with different organizations, and it was something that I was very passionate about. And I remember at one point, like, maybe I'll just go into the Peace Corps when I graduate college, you know, I'll just get the degree. Like for me, it was just like to get the paper. I had no desire to get it, but it was more for my family because my mom never got a chance to get a college, you know, her college degree, and she lived a lot vicariously through me, and it was just more making them proud. Like that was the one connection I did have with my mom. I only felt love from her whenever I like made her proud, you know, and so I always worked really hard. That was a driving force in my life, even though we like don't have a good relationship. Like years later now I look back and I'm like, that's why I always like work so hard. And so, you know, it's a crazy thing sometimes, the things that we see as like, whether it's a curse or problems or issues or things in our life are the exact things that develop us and create us into who we are. You know, some of you guys have heard Tony Robbins talk about this before. We would like, if I had the mom that I wanted, I wouldn't be the woman that I am. Like I wouldn't, you know? And so it drove me in so many different ways and pushed me to do more, to create more, you know, to be focused, to be disciplined, because I had to go out and create something of myself. And so I worked really hard for that. And that was something that I'm really thankful for, years later. But I remember when I came to this company, I was just like, man, there's a chance to make cash. That was my first thing. My first summer, like, chance to make cash. Let's go. I banged, made 22 grand in 2.5 months, left Europe, partied like a freaking rock star, spent all of it. That was really dumb. But thankfully I was a top FSM, came back and paid off my debts, and then prepaid my senior year of college and everything that I needed. But I didn't know that I'd be here later. And it was going to that meeting on December 21st where he talked about that. I'm like, man, I have a killer opportunity that not a lot of people have, and I do know that I want to run a business. So I want to have those skill sets, and I want to be marketable. I want to stand out because I hadn't really done like meaningful internships. And back then they weren't as required as they are now because people want to see hands-on skills. It was kind of like optional. It's good if you do. Some certain majors had it as a requirement, where others it wasn't required, but it was encouraged. And I remember thinking like, this is something good. I'm going to learn some really great skills and it's going to serve me forever. So you know what? Yeah, I'm going to take this shot. And so I worked hard in the spring to earn a spot, for the summer. And so I share that because some of you guys may be like, man, I'm not on pace. I haven't been doing what I need to do. Like, you can make a decision to turn that around. I'm going to make 95% of our decisions will be made by our next prep. That's December 15th. Cool. So 5 weeks from now is when we're going to be finalizing 95%. I would probably say 30 or 40% of people will know where they're going, like what their office is. And then the other, 60, 70% will not know yet because I want to see how they do during Christmas break, because there's people who have been gone at school like Angela, and people who haven't been involved and haven't gotten a chance to perform yet. Those of you guys who are away at school, I think about, are you guys, and by the way, everybody who's listening to me right now, make sure that you guys post, or the guys who are in an office, Hunter, if you can take roll for your guys' office and write it down. Rolly, if you can take roll and just send it to me. But anybody else who's on their own, Angela, whatever, like text me and say, hey, I'm on, because that's something that we're going to look at. I'm looking at, okay, attendance. I've tracked attendance for each meeting. So who's missed events, who's at events, who's reliable, who's going to show up, right? We're going to give some kick-ass opportunities to people. I want to know that it's the people that are responsible, reliable. They're going to show up for their team. They're going to show up for the organization, that Lloyd's going to feel good. Like, okay, they're maximizing this territory. We gave them a chance to do this. We're giving them $8,500 to start up a company. We're giving them 50% commissions for 3 months. Is this someone that we want to reward with that opportunity and also entrust with this money, or are they just going to disappear? Are they all talk and they don't back it up, with action? And so we want to see that. So for those who haven't done much during the school year, can you dedicate yourself during the break at least a week? Some of you guys, 2 weeks during break, you need to be in your office. And so you'll be something like, Angela, I'm you. When I get home from final, I'm trying to get out of finals early, which everyone should be trying to get out of finals early, talking to your teachers now. And I can give you a letter that talks about the internship and say, hey, we have a training starting back home that starts on the 11th of December. And so trying to be back by that weekend before everybody, so you're ready to rock. We actually have our prep on Friday the 15th, but you should be working your offices those 2 weeks, getting ready, getting your leads ready, getting everything ready for the push that starts after Christmas. Many of you guys, offices, those in College Station, those at HTX, and I know like Jacob's office too, like you guys have some big end of the year goals. We want to make sure that, they're going after $1 million, or going after whatever number it is. The pilot, we also have some big, we want to finish the year strong. We're going to be looking at where we're at and what we need to do to really finish the year with a bang. So we're going to need you guys stepping up. But when you guys are back, I think about anyone who wants to run an office, you should be working in an office at least 1 day a week. You should be involved in some capacity, executing the stuff that you're learning. You should be running a training. By the time year in banquet comes, you should have ran at least 2 training seminars. Cool. So when are those during Christmas? Is there one that you're running now and one after Christmas? Can you run one during Thanksgiving break? Billy's running his first one the day after Thanksgiving. So Friday and Saturday, even if it's for 2 or 3 people, it's something that you'll have, so you'll have that under your belt, getting that first run through. I remember John Austin, he was saying like, oh, that was so helpful doing that. His training, I think he only had 1 or 2 people, but just getting that run through in front of people, then you just feel more comfortable. Every time you do it, you're gonna feel more and more comfortable. Some of you guys are gonna have the opportunity to do it more than that, and if you can do it more, do it more. It's good for you. But can you get 2 run throughs before year in banquet? Okay. Year in banquet is January 12th. So you want to have ran, through 2 training seminars, ideally by then. I know everyone has to have done 1. That's a requirement by Lloyd. You will not have a branch spot if you haven't ran at least 1. But we encourage you guys to run 2 or more. You'll feel a lot better going into the spring. All right. So that's really big. But anyway, what are you doing to commit and really set yourself apart? So know that the next 5 weeks, they matter. What you're doing during the holidays, Thanksgiving break, stepping up. We want to see, because in the summer, next year, we're going for a freaking national title. I know here in the pilot for new business pilot sales, I know as a division, we have the opportunity. I have to see, I want to pick the best people who want to go after it. Because I know that we could go after the new business silver cup next year. And that would be freaking phenomenal to see our division go after that and take it down. Right now, Brian Stevenson's going to take it down for this year, it looks like, for new business. We can go after that this next year. And I want the right people in place. We're excited to step up and make some big things happen. So again, we watch that during these times to see who steps up or who's like, I don't care, whatever. I want team players. I want people who are excited to be about being part of a national championship team. I want people who just take pride in putting their best foot forward and performing at their best level. Are you okay with just being average, or are you wanting to give your best, And it doesn't mean working every day, but it means your best on the days you're working. If you're working those 2 days, man, crush those 2 days. Give those 2 days 110%, And so really commit to what you're doing and go all in. And that's really important for you guys. All right. So I wanted to, in the group, you guys have this sheet. Those of you guys here live, you guys got this sheet. And I wanted to walk through this with you guys. By the way, this is a great book that you guys can read. It's called Extreme Ownership, and it's written by Navy SEAL commanders. Okay. So if you see here, it says if leading any Navy SEAL team through the most prolific and dangerous war zone of the 21st century in Iraq isn't instant credibility, nothing is. In extreme ownership, these SEAL commanders will teach you how to take ownership of your life, family, and team. No excuses required. And I love, one of the things I love about the military, their mantra, they're just like, it's like you go make stuff happen. Every sector of the military has their rally cry, but you learn to toughen up. You learn people are counting on you. You learn it's up to you to be the leader that squadron needs, that team needs, that home needs, to be able to be at the level that it's at. Every one of you guys, we want, and you guys know that's our mission in GCK, to develop the best leaders in and out of the business. I want you guys to be the best leaders in your community, in your churches, with your families, with your spouses, in your businesses, whatever the heck you're doing, to be the best freaking leaders. And that's huge. So this gives you kind of what each chapter talks about. And I wanted to go through this real quick, and we'll go through popcorn read. So JD, chapter 1, go for it.
Extreme ownership. A leader must own everything in his or her world. Leaders must first admit their failures, find a mirror in themselves, and never blame others.
And stop there. So you have to, do you take ownership? This is something I learned years ago through my personal coaches. It's if things don't go well, are you pointing fingers of oh, well, this happened or that happened or whatever? Or do you just go, you know what? I probably could have done, do you think, what could take ownership? There's something you probably could have done a little bit better to have created a different circumstance with whatever happened. And as a great leader, you always take ownership. Maybe I wasn't clear enough. Maybe I wasn't this. Maybe I didn't really explain the process, or they didn't have full confidence in whatever was happening, or, whatever it is. But taking ownership and never pointing the finger as to why things didn't happen, but looking internally at what you could have done better to create better results. All right.
Every reason you tell yourself for why you can or can't do something is an excuse.
Cool. Put a star next to that. And so I think that's so important, because it's so easy to make reasons and you're like, oh yeah, no, I couldn't because da-da-da-da. Those are excuses. Can anyone think of a time that you've done that and you don't even think about it? You're just like, oh no, this is why this didn't happen. They're called excuses. And so some of you guys sometimes have told me a reason, and you see me get flustered. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Because at the end of the day, it's an excuse. That's how I look at it, because I was trained like that a long time ago. It's hey, it is what it is. Just take ownership. You know what? I could have done this better, or this could have happened, and just keep moving forward. And the third part says, it takes humility and courage to take full responsibility for the actions. And so that's really, again, knowing that's a sign of the strongest leaders. The strongest leaders are humble. The strongest leaders take ownership. I think that we grow up in a world where we feel like leaders have to be perfect, never apologize. What I say is right, what I do, everything's perfect, and that's not the case. The best leaders, they're humble and they own whatever's going on. All right. Second, go, chapter 2.
There are no bad teams, only bad leaders. A leader must hold firm to high standards and make people accountable for their actions. A great leader teaches a team so well that even his or her absence, the team will thrive.
All right. And so this is really big too, like with your people, are you holding them? I think about right now, driving sales, right? Many of you guys are assistant managers in your offices. Many of you guys are helping drive performance. And this is important when you guys are doing this, like, are you okay with whatever's happening? Like, oh, okay, cool. Or are you like, hey, like, I know you got more in there, Victoria. I know that, and you're chatting with people and you're like, all right, hey, what do you feel is holding you back? How can we take it higher? Like when people are cutting corners, people are not showing up to stuff. Are you holding them accountable? The best coaches hold people accountable, all right? And they push people. And by the way, they pull really the best out of people, and they push people with a desire to want to be better. Like the person's like, damn, man, I got to step up. I got to do this. And they create a desire for that, for people. So, and you create a place where when you're gone, they want to show you what's up. They want to show you that they can do it as good or better than you, or they're striving for it, like I think about the best people on my teams, like they were always like wanting to like beat me. And I hear managers like, oh, when I'm gone, they don't do anything. And I'm like, that's a leadership flaw. Because your job is to train your people to be as good or better than you. And when you're gone, it's when they should want to step up and show up, and show you up. My guys would get fired up. Like they won, they broke month records when I wasn't there. If you guys look at some of the record breakers, they have signatures on it. That's my staff who won it because I wasn't even there. And I was like, you guys sign it. He's like, we broke the record. And I'm like, yeah, you did. And I'm like, sign that thing, So their names are on that thing because they freaking broke that record, and feel good about that. They freaking own that shit. I remember Mary Lou's like, I won March Madness. That was her proudest accomplishment as a manager in Miami. She had the big trophy with the basketball. Like we like send that around during March Madness. That'll happen this March, by the way, here in the region. But we do that. Every region does that, March Madness. And they won March Madness. And she had in her her summer. When she opened her office, I let her take that trophy with her. That was her proudest accomplishment as a manager, just feeling like, she did that. And so she wasn't like, oh, Cut's gone, I don't care. She was like, I'm going to freaking win this thing. I'm going to do this while she's gone. So anyway, creating that excitement for people to want to, show you what they've learned and how great they are. Chapter 3, Billy.
Believe. You must believe in and be able to articulate the why of any mission.
Mm-hmm.
If you and your team don't know why you're doing something, you'll quit when faced with a challenging situation. You must emphasize the greater goal above any individual team member.
Okay, and isn't that the truth with everything? This is what we were talking about earlier, right? With PC, when you're talking to someone, when someone's working here in this job, why? Why are you working? I don't know if you guys can relate at some point in this business, losing sight of why you were doing it. All right. I remember like different times being like, why am I doing this? Like wanting to quit. And many times I lost sight of why I was doing it. And it just became like, it's dragging, became a chore, I just wasn't excited about stuff. And it's because I lost sight of why I was doing it. And so for anybody in life, if you're out and wanting to do something great, you have to really like have know why you're doing something. And so that's a really, really huge thing. All right. Chapter 4, Jacob.
Check the ego. Ego clouds your judgment during a decision-making process. You must be confident but not cocky. You must be able to assess your faults honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with others' egos is important. It's best to take the blame before offering criticism.
All right. So that's always important. I think that's very self-explanatory through there, but just, making sure you're always serving, you're always confident in your actions, but not a know-it-all, and if something's happening, like always check yourself and take blame before you're going through stuff. Like, hey, I probably could have explained this better. But when we're going through this, here's what you want to do, and coaching people through that. Let's have some of the guys who are on here. Angela, can you read chapter 5? You're unmuted.
Okay. Cover and move. Cooperation is the most critical component of a team's success. Divisions will naturally arise within any group, family, or company. The most immediate and consistently deal with these conflicts by obsessively communicating with each other, each part understanding their role in the larger whole. If any member falls, the entire team falls. If the team succeeds, every member succeeds.
My staff, does this sound familiar to anybody? Have we not been talking about this? Many of us have had side conversations about this, but you have to remember, like, things are going to happen, right? You might get upset with things. You might get frustrated with each other, all right? But we're a freaking team. We're a unit, all right? And if one person is not doing well, the team is failing, okay? And so we've got to be able to address things that are problems immediately. Guys, when you don't address problems immediately, those little things that could have been handled right off the bat, guess what happens? They grow, and they become big things. And sometimes they become like out of control in your head. They cause much bigger issues than if we would have dealt with them when they were small, okay? And so when there's a problem, when there's an issue, when you're frustrated with something, the worst thing you can do is to hold it in. But many people, and I know many of you, because your managers have told me, or you guys have told me, don't like confrontation, or don't want to say something to somebody. You don't want to sever your relationships or whatever. But it's not confronting somebody in a way to put them down. It's confronting a situation in a way to grow together, because you know that the team is only as strong as the weakest link. And so you've got to strengthen that weakest link for the team to be operating at the level that it wants to operate. You with me? So holding stuff in serves nobody. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve them. It doesn't serve the team. Got it? So it's really important. Chapter number 5. Victoria, can you read that? Oh, 6. Just kidding.
Simplify every task to its most essential components.
I can't hear you. Can we get you closer to the computer, or put her closer? Or yell.
Simplify every task to its most essential components and stay focused. Making tasks overly complicated will inevitably lead to and compound avoidable problems. If any member of your team does not fully understand his or her role, then you must further simplify their objective until they do understand. This is your responsibility.
Cool. And so that's a really big thing and an easy thing for you guys. You know, I think about someone wants to, we do this during pushes, right? You want to have a 10,000. You're like, all right, we break it down. We break it down to the simple thing of, you know, you got to make 20 calls per day. You know, do this, do 3+ demos a day, 3+ demos a day for the 2 weeks. And that's how you're going to get there. And so we simplify it and break it down. So, you know, what do I need to do? 20+ calls every morning, 5 calls before and after. So I get 50 calls completed per day. And I'm doing 3+ demos every single day, no matter what. If I'm completing that, I complete 40 appointments with MAC customers in that time. Boom, I hit it. That's an example. But with anything you're doing, are you breaking it down, right? I want to have blank training class. I want to launch double digits. I want to launch 10+. That means I need 30+ set for training. All right. So what do I need to do? How many do I need to sign? All right. In a 6 days of interviews, that means I need to be 5 per day. Okay. If I'm running 2 or 3 interviews a day, that means that I'm signing 1 to 3 per interview to make sure I get that 5 set for that day, 5 signed for that day. If I sign 5, 6 days a week, I have 30. If I have 30, it gives me a shot at 10 in the door. Actually, that's not double digits launch. That's 10 in the door. And then it's up to you. You'll launch 7, 8, 9. You could launch 100%, but typically it's about 80, 80%. That's a solid launch, all right? So just so you guys know that. But, breaking the task down. So I know actually if you want to launch double digits, you need to be signing 7 or more a day. I know I've broken that down before with our guys. And so if it's 7 a day for those 6 days, that's 40-something. 40-something means we'll have 13 to 15 in. 13 to 15 in means 10 out the door, all right? So I know that it's 7 a day if you want to launch double digits. So breaking down whatever it is with reps, with you, with tasks to simplify. And again, doing this in your life as well, all right? Number 7, let's see here. Who's not driving? Mason.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
All right, cool. All right, chapter 7. Prioritize and execute. You must not be overwhelmed by any situation. When making an important decision, remember, relax, look around, make a call. Make a list of the necessary tasks, prioritize them, do the next job first, then the second. You can avoid high-pressure decisions by planning. Deal with problems before they arise.
Yeah, have you guys ever found yourself like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. It's like start in the beginning, So, like make a list, that's why people talk about attack lists, right? So it's not like you're sitting there like, oh my God, who am I gonna call? You're just sitting there staring. You know where to go. And so it's like call the first, call second, whatever it is that you're doing, if you sit back and you plan ahead and you know what needs to get done, then it's just executing when it's time to go, So taking time to plan, and that's why you guys hear people saying, right? Failing to plan is planning to fail. I don't know if you guys have heard that before, but I heard that so many times growing up. And it was just like failing to plan is planning to fail. If you don't plan ahead, things are going to fall apart. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be anxious. Things aren't going to happen. And so it's a really important thing. All right. Chapter 8, Michaela. You're unmuted now. Or not. It won't let me unmute you. There you are. Chapter 8.
Okay. Decentralized command. Give responsibility to others. Trust them. A human being is generally not capable of managing more than 6 to 10 people. But junior authorities must also know and understand the limits of their authority.
All right. So, and this is, by the way, and even when you guys run offices, I always tell you guys, you should know what's happening with your top 10 always. You're not going to know everybody, and those guys will help manage the other guys, And so they'll each have a couple people that they're mentoring as your team grows. The best problem you can have, I love when a branch is like, I don't know, like this was Jay. I'm like, use your team captain. He's like, oh, but he couldn't relinquish control. This was an issue Gordon had this summer that hurt him. All right. As great as they did and broke the all-time record in GCK and one of the top branches in the nation, they could have done more. And they could have done more if, as it says here, he could have given responsibility to others and trust them. All right. But him, like myself, like many managers, when I was new, you're a control freak. You want to do a lot of type A's. You're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it better than they do. I'm going to do it. All right. Talked to my husband about this last night. I'm like, you got to let go. The guys can handle it. You got to just coach them on what to do. I'm like, let go. You got to let go. You're not going to be a great coach and a great leader if you don't empower your people and trust them and see what they will surprise you sometimes. They will surprise the heck out of you. Sometimes they do shit better than you do. All right. All of us. And I've seen some of my guys and I'm like, hell yeah. And I love how they do stuff. You got to pour in and trust people. So when you guys are, and it doesn't mean just like, oh, I know you got it, and not coach them, all right? That's the other end, all right? You can't do that either. When you guys promote assistants this summer, you got to coach them. Hey, do it with me. Let me show you. Walk them through what to do so they know how to execute it, all right? You can't expect them to know how to do something you haven't taught them either, So are you being a good coach coaching them, but then trusting them once you've taught them that they can execute it, all right? Is it going to be perfect at first? No. But they're not going to get good until they get to do it some more times, right? So it's important that repetition process happens. All right. Chapter number 9. All right. Hunter.
It's in the morning.
You're unmuted. Close the interview. Are you going? Oh, I can't. Sorry, you got muted again. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So plan. To accomplish a large mission/task, you must thoroughly plan ahead. First, analyze the objective, then identify the necessary resources which will be required. Determine a specific course of action. Plan for contingencies. Delegate, act, finally debrief.
All right, cool. So again, that's all self-explanatory, but making sure that's happening. Chapter 10, all right. Rolando, you guys are unmuted.
Let me just leading up and down the chain of command. Leading down the chain of command is effectively communicating your desires to subordinates. Leading up the chain of command is effectively communicating your needs to your superior.
What's the main thing that is common in both of these?
Effectively communicating.
Thank you. All right. And that's something that a lot of people lack. And if you want to be great, you have to effectively communicate. And I talked to a lot of people about this and just making sure on all ends that that's happening. All right. Then chapter 11. Go ahead and read there. Who do I have here who's on? All right. We'll just go. Ricky, chapter 11. Talk loud.
Decisiveness amid uncertainty. Realize that you will never be 100% certain of a decision. The picture is never complete. You need to be able to make a confident, though not reckless, decision despite this chaos. Always waiting for the perfect situation will lead to detrimental inaction. The time is now. Here's what I'll tell you. I'd rather someone mess up trying and doing it the best they thought, that if it was their office, that's how they would do it, than not taking action with the fear of screwing up. You guys with me? I have new staff all the time and they're like, oh, I just didn't want to do anything because I just didn't want to mess it up. Well, that's a real bad thing. Inactivity, nothing happening, that's the worst thing that can happen, okay? But if you actually think through and say, okay, what's the best way I feel that I should handle this? Or you say, how would Cody handle this? How would this handle, like whoever it is, any of your mentors, whatever, or me, like if I was Kathy, how would I handle this? Make the best decision
on how you think I would handle it and go full at it. All right, go full at it, make the best decision possible. And so that's what that's saying. Like, you're not going to be 100% certain all the time, especially when you're newer into a role. Okay. And so you've got to just say, okay, how would I handle this? How do I think that Lloyd would handle this? How do I have to say that to myself all the time when I'm running a division? All right. I'm still a baby. I'm like getting to dirty 30 now as a division manager, you know, like in terms of experience and going through, like, it's like, I'm still learning a lot of things as a DVM. And so that's something that I tell myself, like, okay, how would Lloyd handle this? How would, the best DVMs handle this? As I'm learning and gaining experience, because I've only been a division manager for 2 years, and so I'm still new in that role. And it takes time to develop in different stages and have maturity in a certain role that you're in. All right. So know that. And chapter 12, discipline and freedom, or discipline equals freedom. A leader must live in between the dichotomies: aggressive but not overbearing, quiet but not silent, calm but not robotic, humble but not passive, competitive but a gracious loser, etc. And it goes through. And so again, this is a great book. And this gives you an overview on every chapter. And so you just got the Cliff Note version from Kathy. But if you want to go in and dive in, a lot of great content that you guys can get from that. Cool. So I wanted to share that with you guys here today. And for those who are newer to Leadership Academy, or anyone who's watching this later on re-recording, our goal is to help you guys grow personally, professionally, and financially. And so every time we try to provide something that's just long-term going to serve you as a leader, provide something that's going to help you financially, and something that's going to help you guys in running the business. All right. So I'd love any quick takeaways from that. Anything that stood out to you guys that you really liked. I'm going to unmute everybody so you can talk. All right, rolling.
Take ownership, extreme ownership, I think was the word.
Title of the book.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, cool. Other things that stood out.
Check the ego.
Check the ego. All right, awesome. Huh? Ego clouds your judgment. I like it. Other things that stood out to anybody as we're going through there.
Having a family.
Huh?
Having a family within the company. So like everyone is like practically on the same page. They all like help each other out.
Mm-hmm.
And
All right.
for each other.
Jay?
No bad teams, only bad leaders.
No bad teams, only bad leaders. Mm-hmm. Yep. There's something you can be doing better always. All right, Billy?
A leader must live in between the dichotomies.
All right. Cool. And why did that stick out to you?
Being firm, but also being vulnerable.
Cool. Billy? Raise your hand if you're away so I can see you if you want to say something. Billy? Roman. Who's talking to Billy?
Give responsibility to others.
Yeah, so learning that is really big. All right.
Well, I was going to say that.
All right, so JD, same thing. All right, go for it. Joseph.
Make a list of necessary tasks, prioritize them, then do the job first, do the next job first, then the second. So it's just like not getting overwhelmed pretty much.
Right, exactly. Just make a plan and then execute. All right. Any other takeaways from that? All right, cool. So I want to meet you all. All right, I want to go through and dive into quick financial stuff, and then we're going to dive into training and going through role play stuff, because this is really important, a lot of stuff that we're going to go over today. And I want to go through all of day one of training. I'm going to put it up here, and so hopefully that group will be finishing up soon. We can grab that cord. But I want to show you guys something. So some of you guys are set up on savings plans, and some of you guys don't have savings. And we started talking about this last prep. I talked about the power of starting, dedicating a certain number, and power of starting younger, and just how that multiplies. And where a dollar is not just a dollar, what happens over time. We talked about the golf, right? Playing that goal that you're like 1 penny, but doubling every time, and you're like, or 10 cents or whatever, and you're like, really? Okay, this hole's 20 cents. Okay, this hole's 40 cents. Like, not that exciting. But within the 18th hole, thousands of dollars on the line, okay? And just how that grows with compound growth. All right. And I want to show you. So I was talking about that last time, but I want to show you guys, because some of you guys, by the way, I was a culprit of this too. And I did this sometimes. And even the past year where there's like different things happening, different things changing, I'm like, oh, well, you know, like I lowered my savings. So my pay myself first. And so write this down, pay yourself first. That's the first thing I want you guys to jot down. Pay yourself first, all right? Pay myself first. Most important, so that's the number one wealth building tip that I can give you. The first wealth building tip, that's all we're gonna talk about today, is pay yourself first, okay? And everyone, all right, everyone who builds wealth has a number that they commit to, all right, of like what they earn. Some people have like a certain amount of cash that they do, like they commit to $500 a month, or, you know, they commit to a certain number. That's one way to do it, is you commit to a certain number that you're gonna always put. I personally like percentage. So those are the two ways to go, right? A set amount or percentage. Those are two ways to save, all right? And I like percentage because you get used to a certain amount no matter what. You know, like you're just, you know that that's just not there, you know? That would be kind of like tithing. You know, 10%, no matter what it is, it's just like, that's just going. Like, that's just going back, that's giving back, thankful for what you're getting, you know? But whichever way you choose, do something. But I strongly recommend percentage, and I want to show you guys what this looks like. But a lot of times people say, well, I've got this to take care of, I've got this to take care of. And by the way, I'll tell you right now, I found myself being a culprit of that this past year. And I've been pretty good at this in my life. And I always like to pay myself first, about 20, 25%. Like always, I've always paid myself. That's the me savings long term. Then there's my percentage for taxes. Then there's my percentage for giving back. So I always did 20, 25%, 10% for giving back, 10% for taxes. You know, so like I had basically half of my checks were already allotted to that. And then the rest was bills and running the company and whatever, travel and other things like that, okay? Like the rest of my life. This year, with doing a lot of personal growth stuff, you know, we getting married, going on trips. I mean, we spent a lot of freaking money. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pay myself only 10%. So I'll do 10%, 10% giving back, you know, 10% taxes. And it wasn't until Spencer and I were at Wealth Mastery over in Fiji that I was like, what am I doing? You know, but it was like, no, but I got to pay all this other stuff. It's like, no, you just have to cut back. You know, you can't go shopping. You can't go to this dinner. You can't do whatever. If you don't have it, you just don't do it. If you didn't pay yourself first, the 25, for me, is 25%. I'm not telling you guys to all be 25%. 10% is a great number. I had picked that number a long time ago, and you'll change it at different times. And I knew I was in a place where I was very comfortable, where I could do that. And this year, out of just like feeling like, oh my God, I'm spending so much more than normal, you know, from our budgets, like we spent over $100,000 this year on wedding, honeymoon, and personal growth seminars, you know, and it's like, that was an extra that I didn't spend last year. I didn't spend that $100,000 last year, you know, so just like being nervous, all right. And then when we were there in Fiji in September, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, no, back to 25. And that's back up there. Like it's set. That's what I will always pay myself forever. Like that's what I'll pay. And if it means if I'm in a rough spot that I have to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and freaking whatever, like take vegetables and just like eat them and chew on them, and that's all I can do, that's going to happen. All right. That'll never happen. But I'm just saying, like, you'll create a way. And what happens is your mind, you find a way to get to where you want to be. All right. And I wanted to encourage you guys, don't say, hey, when I have this much or when I have these things paid, then I'll save. It's the worst thing that you can do, all right? It's the worst thing that you can do. And I think most people have been a culprit of that. I've talked to most of you guys in here, and I've heard you say that. I've been a culprit of that too. It's like, hey, well, once I have this, then I'll go back to here. And it's like, no, just make a commitment to a number. And so I want to show you guys, write this down, all right? And if you guys can all write this down, they're over there, and you guys can write this down here. I want you guys to look at, all right, if your paycheck, what your paycheck is, and if you do, you know, 10% to pay yourself first. And by the way, this isn't money you're losing. This is money you're investing long term that's building your future, okay? This is money that when it accrues at a certain point, the interest you're earning on it can be paying your life, and you can be traveling the world, and you can be doing whatever because your interest is paying you. So I did my calculations, and I know that 13 years from now, my interest will produce $250,000 plus or $300,000 plus, where I can live the same lifestyle I do now, not working at all, just from the interest of my investments, you know? So I'm like, that's pretty cool. That excites me. That in my late 40s, I'd just be chilling, earning $300,000 a year, doing nothing just from the interest from my savings. All right. I don't know if that excites anybody here, but I'm sure you guys know people in their 40s and 50s who can't earn $300,000 doing nothing. all right? And you guys can set yourselves up even better than me because I'm 35, okay? And if you guys start now and you commit yourself now, it can get really exciting where you guys might be 40 and you're like chilling because you did things right younger, okay? And I really want you guys to look at this and think about this. So check this out. Ready? You guys can write this out. So let's say your paycheck's $150, okay? If you guys are doing 10%, that means that $15 is being put into your long-term pay yourself first, which means your paycheck is $135. So that's the difference. You're missing $15, all right? If your paycheck was $250 minus $25, that means your paycheck now is $225, all right? Is what your paycheck is. But you're paying yourself that commitment. Like you can do without that. So $350, you're taking away $35, so your paycheck is $315, all right? If your paycheck is $500, you're taking away $50, your paycheck is $450. $750, you're taking away $75, so your paycheck is $675, all right? Is there anyone here that feels a really huge difference between these two things? Like, look at it for real. Does anyone go, oh no, I just couldn't do that? Most of you spend $15 to $50 a week on stupid shit. And whether it's beer, going out, eating out extra supersize, marijuana, or other stupid shit that I know some of you guys do, all right, let's just be real here. You spend this. And then you say, oh no, I can't afford that. Oh no, I can't save because I got to pay for X, Y, and Z. Yes, you can. Pay yourself first before you need to do anything else. Watch what happens later. It's amazing what you create for yourself, all right? Now check 15% out because I want you guys to pick a number. I want everyone to pick a freaking number. Some of you guys already have it. Some of you guys are aggressive. You go up to 30%, whatever. That's great. But this is money that you're putting away, no matter what, okay? 15%. If you're there, you're taking away $22.50. So that check is now $127.50. If you're at 20%, you're taking away $30, so your check is now $120. All right. Then, if you're earning a $250 paycheck, you're taking away $37.50. So your paycheck is $212.50. If you're at 20%, it's $50. Your paycheck is $200. All right. Then, at $350 paycheck, you're taking away $52.50. Your check is now $297.50. If you're at 20%, you're taking away $70. Your paycheck is now $280. All right. But you're putting more long term. And again, the more aggressive you can be earlier, the quicker you get to that place where your interest off your investments is paying you what you need to live or what you need to enjoy life or what you need to like play and like. I mean, if with 300 grand a year, I live my lifestyle that I love. I do everything that I love. I don't have to worry about anything. I know that. Now earning more, and we definitely have a number for that. It's just fun. It's just fun money that I can just like do this, give $1 million here, do this over there. And like, you know, be able to like, to the more I earn, the more I can impact, you know, that's for me. And so whatever it is for you. Yeah.
Being aggressive earlier, does it also make the number later larger?
Of course.
What do you, oh yeah, it's larger quicker. The more aggressive you are earlier, the larger it gets quicker. All right, it's wild. If you look at people, someone who started in their 30 and someone who started at 50, someone started at 25, someone started at 40, and they start doing the same thing, it is crazy different because it's doubling, like you saw with the whole golf ball, right? Well, if we started with $1, you know, like you're doing more, you're being more aggressive early on. That dollar now is $2, not 20 cents. Is $4, is $8, and you can keep multiplying it. It's like way different, you know, what happens versus it being cents or dollars. So the more aggressive you are, like you'll see those thousands way earlier than later. You know, it won't take the 18th hole to get to the thousands. You might be in the thousands by like the 12th hole, you know, or the 10th hole, you know, whatever it is, depending on what you're doing.
Also, the higher percentage, the harder you're going to have to work in order to sustain the lifestyle you want.
Right, it forces you to stay on your stuff, okay? Like I know we have to do certain things to make sure that we're getting that done because I made a commitment to build a life long term so that I can enjoy my life and not be working later, all right? Because I didn't want to work past 40. I wanted to work because I want to, not because I had to. All right. And so that's something that I've been able to create. And you guys can do the same thing. And it was this business that provided that. All right, Jacob?
And where are we? So this is interest. Obviously, it comes from somewhere. Where are we putting this money?
There's a lot of different places to put it in. And that's a lesson for another day. And by the way, you have one of the best leaders for that. Eric is phenomenal with his money, financial fitness, and building wealth. He is the best in the entire division. The best. Better than me, by the way. Better than me. I go to him. I talked to him yesterday. He came to my house or Sunday. And I said, hey, I want to bounce off some ideas on some stuff, places that I want to put some money, and just hear your thoughts on it. So I like to get his feedback because he's damn good at that. All right. I'm really good, but he is the best. He's the best. Just so you know. The best with his money. And just for me, for a long time, it was ignorance. Because as a woman, I told myself always, my husband will handle that. I know how to make shit tons of money and they can handle it. And I never learned a lot, you know, and I knew enough and I needed to know stuff, especially for my people and to coach my people as a DM and to have good wealth building practices. I've been coaching with Adam Stack for over a decade. So I know a lot of stuff, you know, but there's some specifics right now. It's like, what should we invest into? There's Bitcoins, there's online money. There's, you know, they're coming up with so many like 3D printers and stuff, 3D printing companies and crazy things where like they're making prosthetics, an arm for somebody on a 3D printer, you know, for like $20 versus thousands and thousands that it used to cost, you know? And so where should we invest? Like where's technology right now and everything that's happening? So those are the things I'm talking to him about because he keeps up to know with what's new. So I know about some stuff, but I told him on Sunday, I said, hey, I want to talk about Bitcoin. I want to talk about it. And he's like, oh yeah, let's talk about that. You know, like precious metals, this or that. Like there's a lot of places to invest. So I've got a chunk of money that now I'm like, all right, where do I want to put it into? And there's different fields, there's different industries, you know, that are popping up all through medical breakthroughs, like different things that are good to invest in. There's stocks, there's bonds, there's real estate, you know, there's great money in real estate as well. So there's different things. And the goal is to diversify your money. You don't want to put all your money in real estate, all right? Because how about if shit goes down and then you're like, you know, like, and it's going to go up and down. But if you have some in real estate, some in precious metals, some in stocks and bonds, you know, some in Bitcoin, some in cannabis, some in whatever. Like there's so many things that are happening. All right. It's just true. Like you go to Denver, you go to like, there's a lot of things going on and breakthroughs happening. And they're showing all the medical breakthroughs on stuff, you know, and if you have your money in different places, then, you know, like you're diversified, you know, your money's more protected long term and nothing's 100% safe, but there's a lot of diversification. And I'll give you guys some cool stuff. I can actually bring to Olean, or I'll post a picture in the group of like different ideas, you know, different buckets of where you want to put your money. But some stuff is quote unquote safer, right? And you have to decide for you, what's your risk? Like, are you able to put more in the risk? Because there's one that's like less risky, more risky, and then long-term fun, okay? When it comes to what you paid yourself first, it should go into those buckets. And most of your money should go into the first two buckets, the investments, because that's how it's growing. But then when you get bonuses or you set contests for yourself, if I hit blank goal, I get to spend $10,000 on going on this cool vacation, all right? If I spend, you know, if I hit this goal, like those are things that I set with myself, you know? So I'd always like set cool things of like, oh, if I get this done, then I get to go do this, you know? So those are all things that you guys can do. But I wanted to show you guys this, and I know you guys can do math and stuff, and I know we can talk about it all day, but I think it's powerful to just see it on paper, you know? Because even at 20%, you're going from a $750 paycheck to a $600, from a 150 to a 120. Is it really that big of a difference? It really isn't that big of a difference. You might have to tighten up on some stupid money you spend, but you can handle that, you know? So stop freaking out because it's not a huge, you know, jump. This is the biggest jump, but you can still make do. If you're earning that much per month, the average college kid can live off of $2,400. If your budget is more than $2,400 a month, we have an issue. We need to talk and cut your budget down. Cool? Because the average college kid should be under $2,000 a month, or right around there if you're on your own. $2,500 on the high end. and you might be on the high end, but I would say get roommates. Figure something out. I lived in a one-bedroom apartment, and I got a roommate in my one-bedroom apartment in college to save more money. And we had 2 beds, you know, dorm style. Because if you live in the dorms, what do you do? Like in a dorm, it's 2 per room in most cases, you know? So I decided to live dorm style, but in an apartment. And it was cool because the room was big, so we each had a queen-size bed instead of a twin in the dorm, you know, and to save money. And we split that apartment that was $900 something a month, $450 each, you know, or $475 each. It's like, what can you do to cut back? Where can you, whatever you can do, be smart. Every dollar makes an impact for later, all right? So it's not just like, oh, it's $200 more. Oh, it's only $300 more, and I get a pool. Who cares? Go down to someone else's pool. Put $300 more away each month, you know? And so really get excited about building it so that, again, the interest of your investments is taking care of your life, all right? So I wanted to show you guys that and look at, you know, what is the number you feel comfortable with that you're paying yourself. That, by the way, let's say you have 20% in your tax withholdings, all right? Well, you're going to use some of that for taxes. You're going to use, so what is it? So maybe it's 10%. Half of the money from your tax withholdings is you're putting into pay yourself. That you're not touching that. That's like going into investments and stuff for later. And then half of that money is money that I'm going to pay taxes and stuff with, you know? So that would be putting aside 20%. If you're doing 20% for tax, should be like 10 and 10. Or maybe it's 5 and 15, but you need to still split that with your taxes if you're not doing extra percentages. So for me, I have the pay ourselves, you know, we have our pay ourselves, and then we have our tax, and then so there's different withholdings that we take out. And you guys can set up more things, but do it. Even for myself as a manager, I use Cutco's withholding program. I get automatically 25% taken out, 1% of it, 2%, you know, like percentages of like what the division does. I put away 1% of that. And so I set it up so I don't even, it does not go into my bank account. It's just there, it stocks up, and then I'm like, all right, where am I going to put it? And I put it into places. All right. So I encourage you guys. It was something that I learned from Rich Plaskin. Rich Plaskin, self-made, you know, made millionaire in this business. Before he was here, he was a truck driver. He was struggling, even as a new DM. They like tried to fire him multiple times. He's like, no, I don't want to go anywhere. And he has a great story. He was with Cutco over 25 years. He just got promoted, and they created a new role for him in corporate. But he was the division manager for Virginia for over 20 years. I think close to 25 years actually. So maybe he's been in Cutco like 30. But he, you know, he became a millionaire through this money and putting money away. He's like, and he had $100,000. Like there were summers and he's like, I use the withholdings programs. His DMs use the withholding programs. And he'd put, you know, whatever, 20, 30, 50% of his checks to just be put away. And at the end of the summer, he'd have $100,000 and he'd just chunk it into places, you know, but it's a lot more, it's a lot easier to spend it if you have it. It just is. You know, so make a commitment to just get it out of your hands so you can have that. All right. So hopefully that inspired someone here to get excited about saving more earlier. But it really is incredible. But that would be my number one. I just want to share with you guys tonight. You want to build wealth? Number one, pay yourself first. Cool. Pick a number, commit to it no matter what, whether it's percentage or amount. I recommend percentage. Because it's easy. It's like, oh, I made 673, and you're a 10%er. It's like, all right, $67 gets put away. All right, no matter what, just slide it into another account, put it into another savings account, or do it and keep it with Cutco. Sounds good? All right. So I want to dive in. Can you go grab the plug from over there from the TV, please? So we're going to put this up here. So we're going to dive into day one of training. Okay. Now, when we are in Olean, I want to make sure anybody is ready for a spot check. So on your planes, you guys should be studying on the freaking airplane. At the airport, make sure you have your stuff with you. But your intro to the interview, your perk section, or your posts, you guys have to be able to spit out any of those. And then with training, I want to make sure that you guys are getting comfortable, like your intro talk. You should have that down already. All right. Some of you guys are like, I haven't even looked at it. It's fine. It's really simple. We're going to walk through it all here with training of day one. And then we're going to go through some of day two training and walk through that as well. All right. So I think this is good for anybody. What's this? All right. Maybe make it. Okay. Here we go. All right, now I did, by the way, there's like an hour coaching session. I know that some of the offices, like Rolando, I think you guys have some MITs there. I think everybody else are branch candidates right now. But if there's any other people who are not on the branch candidate track, newer people who just started, I would recommend there's, I'm going to send right now, actually, let me look at this. We have an audio, so you guys grab out your training. What's happening with this? Why is this not reading it? Are we like on the wrong channel? Hold on, guys. Huh? Let's see here. Input. Yep, it's on the wrong channel. All right, I solved it. All right, guys, so here we go. So we're gonna go through, so let me get this from my Zoom. So this was from the recording that we had earlier. Let me see if it's up, because I went through driving sale and how to do PC number 1, which by the way, I recommend you guys all watch, so it can help you with kicking butt in your offices. But for those who are not, that don't need to be learning, I think that, I know that Jacob had a couple people he said like weren't going to be like running training or didn't need to be going over that. You guys can watch this in the other room and then rejoin. No, it's still processing, so it's not up yet. November 7th, or maybe it is. Yeah, it is. Let me see here, share. All right, so this was the one from earlier. So I'm going to put this in the group me. This is a link to the PC number 1 and driving sales, all right? And so just some tips or keys to driving sales. So that is what I just posted into the group, so you guys can figure or set that up, all right? So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna walk through training, all right? So you guys should have your training notes. Some of you guys have it on your, if you don't have it with you, you wanna have it pulled up or someone have it pulled up, and then just be writing notes as we go throughout on things. Something that I can do, some people had asked me, is if we could put up the actual keynote and get you guys the keynote. Let's see here. Let me change this to, well, let me see if this works and it lets me show it to you guys. Documents. All right. Training day 1. By the way, I would love if there's someone who like loves making things pretty, you know, like Gordon, we like fixing stuff up. Okay. On Keynote, I would like it redone. All right.
What's it, training?
Huh?
So when you're setting up with withholdings, for example, taxes, if I want to withhold 5% of my total earnings for taxes, is that 2.5% in withholdings, or is that 5% in withholdings?
I do not understand what you're saying.
Like right here.
Oh, that's AM. That's separate. Those are different accounts.
Not AM. Like just having a withholdings on all my checks. It's 0 all the way to 50.
Right.
If I wanted to hold 10% of my whole.
How much do you want to pay you? Not taxes. You. How much do you want to pay you?
5. I want to set up a couple, but 10%.
If you're paying you 10%, you still want to have another 5% going to taxes. You guys want at least 5% going to taxes. I recommend 10% going to taxes. So if I'm you, I would put aside 20%. So 10% is paid to you and 10% is aside for taxes. Whatever you don't use for taxes, put it into a Roth IRA or whatever. But it's also a great way to put more money away for your office, like an easy way to save money too, that you do want to spend. You know, like you can put it higher. There's additional things. So okay, I want to pay myself 10%. I want 10% for taxes. I want 10% for office savings. So I'm going to put aside 30% of my checks, and then you can split it up. So just add up all the percentages, because they let you guys go up to 50% of your check, and you need to allocate it of where it's going to go. All right. Any other questions before I dive into training with the financial stuff? Unmute now or forever hold your peace. All right. So let me put here screen share so you guys can see. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. You guys can just watch from there so you can see me talking. All right. So let's dive in. So when people are starting off, so when you're starting training, so first off, make a note. When people walk in, what needs to be set up and ready to go? All right, make a list of this real quick, huh? Sign-in sheet, all right? There needs to be a sign-in sheet. On that sign-in sheet, by the way, it should have their name, all right? It should have their phone number. It should have their email, and it should have how they heard about the job, all right? You can also, a fifth thing that you could put on there is how many names did they come with, right? Like if they started working on it, that's up to you, optional. You can have that on there. But you must have name, phone number, email, and how they heard about it, okay? Because when they're coming in or when they're role playing, you need to make sure like everyone's properly in the system. If their email bounced, you can fix it. So make sure that they have that. When they put how they heard about the job, if they put friend, you need to ask them to put like, if it's a friend, hey, write down who it is. Because the training will actually stop and get blocked if you guys don't match people on the second day. So I like on the first day just to match anybody, and it'll show you in green or in red, like on the actual training training seminar, it shows you green means they're matched. Red means they're not matched, okay? So anytime it's red, like next to their name, it tells you like if they're from campus, schedule, if they're an IAP, if they're a PR, it'll be in red if they're not matched. It'll say PR in red on the training log, okay? So when you look at a training log, you'll see that. I can't show you one right now because we don't have one right now. So making sure you guys do that. So that way you can match them so you don't have any issues with contracts on the next day. Training will not let you close out if people haven't been matched, okay? If maybe they were recommended by a friend that heard about it at school, they don't actually work on our team, what do you match it to?
Heard about it at school?
I'm saying they heard about, no, their friend told them because the friend heard about it at school. When you're and it says PR on your training log, it says PR. Who are you matching it to?
You just put campus? No?
No. It won't let you, I mean, it tells you have to match it to a person. If you've ever matched a PR, just so you guys know and make a note, if they're in the system, so I'm talking about like, they're already in training. In training, it tells you they were an IAP, they were campus, they were a PR. So this person shows up as a PR. What that means, Rolly, is it will not let you close it unless you match them to who recommended them. But all we have in the system are people that work with us. So what do? Has anyone done this?
Who recommended the person that?
They're not in our system. They don't work with us. It's not going to pop up.
But like who, the person they told the other person.
They don't know. They found a flyer on the floor like I did. Does anyone know the answer?
Is it yourself? Say that you recommended them?
Nope. Just so you know.
Phil got
what?
it. I think Phil has it.
Phil, what is it?
Okay. Don't you just put unmatched PR and then later, whenever they put it in.
There's an option for no match. You have to click no match and it lets you match to no match. Okay? It's silly, but that's what it is. So you click no match and then match. And so it says, are you sure you want to match this PR to no match? You're like, yes. All right. So it's a technical thing that'll stop your system and stop people's paychecks. You just want to make sure you guys have that down. All right. So if it's someone who doesn't work with us, or maybe it was someone recommended in the training class. Like this week, we had 2 sisters in training. One was recommended by a rep from our team, so we matched her to Jordan. The other one was recommended by her sister in training. So we had to put match to no match. And then if they work on your team and they want scholarship credit, you want them to get credits for anything, cruise, anything like that, you need to actually send an email to Vector Live and tell them to please match that person and give them both the rep numbers. So the rep numbers are in the system. It's like ID number, whatever, in Vector Live. And so you say, hey, please match this person to this individual. They were in the same training class. So you need to submit that. If not, they won't show up for standings, contests, or whatever. All right. So just so you guys know, that's something that you'll need to do or have to do. All right. So I want to go, so we dive in. So we have, they come in, they have the get to know you sheets, so write that down. It has character references as well. So they should have a sheet that has the get to know you. They should have a sheet with character references. All right, even if they don't have character references on that first day with them or they don't know all the numbers, that's okay. You can tell them, hey, you can bring it the next day. But we need to have and explain what that is. All right, we're going to loan you $450 of product. So in order for you to be able to have those products, we need to have basically 3 adults. Your parents can count as one. They can say, yeah, this is a good person. You can loan them $450. You know, like they're responsible. So someone who can vouch for your character. Cool. So that's something that we need. Then you guys should have some cutting set up. When you guys interview people, you should tell them to bring some stuff to chop up, all right? But you want to make sure you have some stations. The stations I want to make sure are always there. I want a peeler station, cool? I want to use a peeler. You can have fun with that. Like have 2 people with carrots. So Rolly and I would be like, all right, you guys are going to compete to see who peels the fastest. And you can go back and forth and peels all the way to the core of the carrot. And then ready, set, go. And they're just like, shh, you know, and make it a contest. With the peeler. It's just something fun that brings the energy up. People get competitive. They're laughing with each other. They're having fun as they're getting ready to start training. So I have a peeler station. Have some fun with that. You have a trimmer station, all right? I want everyone to use a peeler, a trimmer, chopper. I want to make sure everyone always uses those 3 things in training at least, if not other things. So you have a trimmer station. Easy thing you guys can put there, write down grapes. And grapes can last 2 or 3 training classes. We get some grapes, okay? You can't just end and shoot them a text and say, call Spencer. All right. So When you guys go through, yeah, this is very distracting for me. Or why don't you guys hand your phones to Spencer, so if anybody calls, like he can just answer the phone. But anyway, as we go through, it throws me off. Cutting stations, peelers station, trimmers with grapes are just fine. Tomatoes are obviously good too. Maybe someone will bring one. All right, chopping station. For the chopping station, you can use some of the carrots that they use, but celery is the easiest thing for them to learn how to chop. Cool? And it's like $1 something for a whole thing of celery. You don't have to get organic anything for the chopping station. So get some cheap celery at Fiesta or wherever, and it's like $1. But you have a bunch of celery. By the way, if there's leftover celery, you can save it for the next week. I never had to take it out, so just like brought it in there. But when celery's limp from last week, it's like all limp. I don't know if you guys know this. You can cut the celery in half and throw it in water, and it brings water back to it. And it's not like flimsy from like being from last week and old. So that's thing with cilantro, with celery, like water-based foods that water brings it back to life. So you can save old flimsy celery by putting it in water and it'll be firm. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen snack celery that's in water. And the reason is it lasts longer because it keeps the water in the celery, so it lasts longer. Question.
Okay, sorry. So when do we tell them that they bring this food? Do we tell them when
you accept them? By the way, I can email you guys the acceptance that we print out. We can write, hey, bring a snack and a drink, bring something to chop, bring a notebook and a pen. You put your phone number, but I always tell them those things when you accept them for training. All right. So make sure to let them know that. All right. You can give phones to Noah as well. So peeling, trimmers, chopping, and then you guys can have whatever else. If you want to have a butcher knife, so if they brought something they want to whack at it, it's just fun, whatever, that's cool. But I just have that. Rope and leather is also good in the beginning. And by the way, some of you guys cut rope and leather for sample kits. They should be cutting all the rope and leather for you. All right, why? You could bring a full box and just have like a piece there, and they do the rope, they try the serrated, they try the straight edge, then they cut. You put that aside. Next person, and so they're getting it done while they're using it. All right. So this is how you get help. When you have your own office, how you get all the little things done. All right. So you have big pieces of leather. Some of you guys cut the leather. Why are you cutting leather? When you're back there in training, you go, hey, here, saw back and forth. Hey, push down. Hey, push down with this. You got a good piece of leather, put it aside. Try the other way or whatever. And so they're cutting the leather for you from the bigger pieces to smaller pieces for the demos. So you teach one person to be the rep and one person to be the customer. And you guide the person who's the rep. Here's what you tell them. And so you say, hey, hold it. So first you do it for them. You go, okay, so I'm going to be the rep. You're going to be the customer. Okay, Billy? So he just got training. And so we're going back there. And I'm like, hey, so go ahead and hold here. Start on the back. Press on. So I walk him through it. Once he does it, I'm like, oh, isn't that great? Then I'm like, hey, Billy, now you come over here. So he comes to the side I was on and I stand to the side and I'm going to coach for them. Like, all right, so you're going to tell Roman the same thing. So Roman's your customer. So you're going to say, hey, Roman, go ahead and start here. Press down hard, go full stroke. So you do with the straight edge first. Then you're going to go with the serrated knife first. Then you go with the straight edge knife, and then you go with Cutco, and they do it. And then now Roman steps away, or Billy steps away, and now Roman comes over on the other side. Like there's the one side, which is like I'm the rep, on one side of the table. So now Roman becomes the rep, and JD comes up. He's like, all right, here's how we're going to show you the rope. So they learn how to do it for a demo. Everyone with me? You're teaching them how to do the rope properly as you're going through that. So same thing with the leather. You do it for the first person, but Jay, you shouldn't keep doing it for everyone. Roman, you shouldn't keep doing it for everybody. You do it to the first person, you go, now you become the rep. And so you show them to do it for the next person. All right, Jay? So that way they're learning how to explain it to a customer as they're doing it themselves. Everyone good? So it's an easy way so that they have confidence in how to do the cutting demonstration. Everyone good? Then,
That's just really smart.
Yeah, it's called life hacks after a lot of years of running training. Training hacks. All right. So when you guys start off, another thing you guys can do is have people mix and mingle. So just depending if you're by yourself running your office and you don't have helpers, easy way to get energy going. Hey, meet out at least 3 people. Find out they heard about the job, and then a random or hobby or interest. So they go around, I'm like, meet people. So you're high-fiving people. I'm like, high-five them. Hey, what's your name? How'd you hear about it? Oh, cool. Fun fact, and just, getting things moving. Anytime you guys have breaks, it's good to always give them, like, meet 3 people and ask them their favorite, like, some of their top, what's one of their top music artists, or top 2 or 3, if you can't think of one that come to mind. And just like people just getting to know each other. All right, they're building connections, they're building rapport, build relationships. They're going to be here longer. All right. So once you're ready to start, we sit down. You got your manual. Guys, I run training with my manual in my hand. If you watch me run training, I have my manual with me. I always have my manual, all right? There are some parts when I go into value, I mean, I go off. I know what I'm saying there, but I always go back to my parts. I have things highlighted in my manual, so I don't forget anything. I have notes on the side. I have things I circle, so things stand out to me as I'm going through. So this is my manual. So I'd recommend for you guys to make notes for yourself. I have, when I'm switching the slide, you know, things I want to make sure I don't forget. So this is just my style. My brain works well like this. I can't highlight everything because then it all looks the same to me. So some things are underlined, some things are squiggly lines, some things have arrows, some things are highlighted. Like this is Kathy's brain. However it works for you, where, you know, like as you're going in the flow, things are standing out as you're going through there. You guys want to do that, all right? So
Can I have one of those?
You can make yours. All right, so this right here, when you guys go through here, you started off in the beginning, introduction, you know, my name is blank, I'm the blank, and then just brief bio, cool? How you heard about the job. So it's like I started blank as a rep, I was promoted to management, started run training. But you want to hit a couple things. If you had like negativity starting off, if you thought it was really weird, if friends told you not to do the job, like I remember starting off, I heard I'd be like, don't do this, it's a scam, whatever. And be like, I'm glad I stuck with it. I was able to advance, earn blank amount my first week or blank amount my first summer, or, you know, was promoted within a year into management or within a couple months, had a chance at blank age now to run my own business, you know, or in college, be able to land an entrepreneurship internship with a multi-million-dollar company. It's been pretty freaking awesome, you know, super excited to train you guys and help you guys get the most out of your time here. Then you go into what to expect the next 2 days. And so we're going to, so I have here a slide. So as you're going into day one, an overview, you're going to go through here. All right. So actually this is going to work better for me to just share what's on here. Let me put, All right, so first person, Rolando, go ahead and start reading. We go through, so day one, guys, you're literally just going through. So I'm not going to go through all this, but I want to put the arrangement so you guys can see what I'm doing on here.
What am I
can
reading?
see it too. All right. Yeah, it is. There's a lot of stuff going on at the same time. All right. Okay, so let me share this with you guys who are on here. So I'm going to put share screen so you guys can see what we're on. All right. So there we go. So the first thing, today's overview. So literally you're just going through those things, like what you're going to do on that day. All right. And letting them know what's going to happen. Day 2 tomorrow, you go into second day. By the way, I have my training recorded from 2 weeks ago. So you guys can follow along the opening comments with this. I would listen to it. Before we get to Olean. So whether it's tomorrow, it's an hour. I think the intro, 40 something minutes is the intro. Listen to the intro and follow along so you can write down a couple little extra things. All right. But then you go into why you're going to succeed here. All right. So I'm still here. So you're talking about, and so this right here, all right, and I have this from my office. It has a slide that you talk about the division manager. You're in one of the top divisions in vector marketing. You build up the division manager, all right? You should be talking about the division manager, the GCK, what they're a part of. So first thing is best time of the year to start, all right? Second, best training. So it says they're developed by division manager, Drew Frank. You guys are going to replace all that stuff with me. All right. And so this is, so going through, and so you'll have my stats on here. So you can talk about what people do here. Third, best territory. You guys make a note on best territory. Houston, or, you know, this area, the Houston, greater Houston area, top economy in the nation, by the way. One of the top in the world, but top economy in the nation. You should feel really good about that. There's so many families. So write that down. You want to talk about how there's so many families. Rolando, are you guys writing this down? Make sure you put that. So when you're talking about best territory, you're talking about best economy, tons of families. All right. So much sales happen here. All right. So talking about that. Then you go to incredible support system. And so you guys should have something about your people, your staff. All right. So this should have your district manager. This should have your assistant managers on there. So you can show them there. Then, and as you guys go through here, like, so my objective. So by the way, the incredible support system, as you guys go through there, you'll watch me go through it, but that's a big part. That's just freaking awesome. Read that word for word. Okay. And I want, Gray, go ahead and read the number 4, incredible support system. Go ahead and read through that part. Do you have your training up? Is it up or no?
No, it's not up yet.
Hunter or Eric, one of you guys, go through number 4, incredible support system. Let's go. You're unmuted.
No.
You guys all need to have training up. This is completely pointless if you don't have your training manual in front of you.
Where is
So,
it?
I'm using my laptop right now. Can we get somebody?
you guys were sent those in like the first email of prep. It has your training because you're going to be going through that in the month of September. So everyone should have a training manual of training. So ask leader to go through again and send it out, huh? Does anyone know what date the email was on? For anyone who has to have it. Who has their training manual in front of them? Can we please have somebody read? Go. Roman, part 4, loud.
You can expect 100% support from us. We are your coaches, and our goal is to help you win. We are on the same team, and we are here for you 24/7. Your success is our success. This is not school. You don't get a report card. You get a paycheck. I will only teach you things and ask you to do things that will directly impact your income. There is no busy work. I am 100% commission-based. I only do well if you do well. That should make you feel good. We are totally invested in your success. We will be your best motivators. We will encourage you, recognize you often, and keep you focused on your goals. I will be a tough coach, though. I have a system of forced accountability. If I expect outstanding effort and performance, you'll hit your goals. If you hit your goals, you'll make good money, and then you'll like me. I want you to like me. Is that fair?
All right, cool. And I'm just going to resend it again for anyone who doesn't have this here. Huh?
I just forwarded it over.
Oh, you forwarded it over. What date was the email so people can just look?
They sent it to me on the 23rd.
Just kidding. Spencer didn't send it to all of them. So let's see here. So training.
Kathy, what's your email so you can just forward it to you?
Nope, I'm here. I'm on day 1 of training. So here's the, I'm going to give you guys the names list and then both of these things because you'll need this, the names list as well. All right, so I'm going to send you guys what we're reading through right now and also the names list talk, which you guys want to go through as well. All right, so that was just resent to everybody. So it's going to be a random, I don't know what the subject line is because I didn't change the subject line, but you guys can go ahead and check that out. All right, then we switch to this slide. My objectives for training are, okay, so Ricky, go ahead and read that nice and loud.
1, I want to help you grow professionally, teach you to become entrepreneurs and business professionals. Professional development is important to us. We want you to build your resume so it's stacked. So it's so stacked that you'll be able to get whatever job or whatever internship you want in the future.
Okay.
2,
and then you're going to keep going, and I'm going to interrupt. You're going to go through personal growth. We want to help you grow professionally. We want to help you grow financially. When you talk about financially, make a note when it says name drop top reps and 10K fast starters, okay? You guys want to have a fast start wall of some sort. Those who have been in my office, you guys know, like I have my fast start wall over there, all right, that has all the 10K fast starters, and there's this right above with the top ones above my board. By the way, someone asked me the other day, I was at Dan Hung's office, like, I don't have any 10K fast starters yet. I said, do you think I had them when I started? No, I stole my DVMs. By the way, if you look at Jordans, some of the names in Jordans are mine, okay? So when I first started, these weren't all mine. By the way, that banner, the white banner, those aren't all mine. That was my region's 10K fast starters for a summer, and they made that. All right, some of those guys are mine, and some wrote their names on there that like weren't on there. But there are some I can read right now from the typing. 7 of them that are mine that are typed on there, and then there's people who just like wrote their names when they hit it. But those weren't all mine. The stars, those are now, all those stars are mine. Sean Strachey, Jack Whitty, Jordan Zeal were not mine. Okay, I put their names up there because they were the top in Houston, and I wanted people to recognize the top in West Houston when I moved here. I never worked with that. I ended up working with Jack, but I didn't know them. But I just like other people went, oh, I know. Oh my gosh, that person works here because they went to Houston Christian, or like he went to Strake. Like they were names that people knew. So I wanted to have those up there, even though those weren't mine. Number 1 rep, Sean Strachey. I didn't train him. He was Andy Janti's PR, but he worked in Baltimore. I still always talk. Hey, our top guy, all right, my top guy, Andy's PR, Sean, because that's who it is, all right? But So I have that there because I always like to show he earned over $9,000 his first week on the job. That's pretty cool. All right. And that came from like our Cutco family. So I always talk about him. All right. So anyway, when you guys hit this, so you guys can say yours. It says, let me read this part so you can make any notes. So, hey, our goal is to help you. You know, you talk about first promotion, first weekend. I'm not okay with anyone making less than $100 this weekend. If you follow our program, you'll make that and probably a lot more. All right. And our goal is to help you hit Dirty 30. And I have my Dirty 30 wall, 10K in sales before the end of the campaign, and make your first $2,000 as quickly as possible. But this also means you're making 30% commissions now. Make a note. Show 30% opportunity. So when you guys talk about hitting Dirty 30, make a note. So this is what I'll do. I'll go, all right. So when I mention this, I go, so we want to help you guys get, you know, to 30% before the end of the campaign. I'm like, so check this out. All right. For example, we had, you know, Angela, you were a 10K fast starter or within your first 2 weeks? I couldn't remember.
No, I was like
okay.
7.
Cool. Yeah, I was like 8. So I'm 2 weeks. Billy's 2 weeks. She's 2 weeks. Who was a 10K fast starter? So first week was the 10K fast starter. And Gray, were you a 10K fast starter? Cool. So I would say Gray. So I go, so you guys can use Gray as an example. All right. So you can say, so by the way, we want to help you do that within your first campaign. You know, some people, like everyone on that wall, by the way, they did it their first week on the job. And that's not everyone's, that's about 1% of the company does that. It takes time, availability to do that, and really commitment, day in, day out for 10 days. It takes discipline. But here's what's so great. People that did that, by the way, they're working at 7 a.m. And I tell people, they're working at 7 a.m. every day for 1 week. But the people who did that, watch what happens. Gray hit 30%, right, his first week. So check this out. Gray can now work 1 day, all right, 1 day a week. And he can go out. Let's say he just does 6 appointments that day, all right? If he does 6 appointments that day, what we know is that Gray, all right, he'll have 4 sales, all right, 3 or 4 sales. His average is actually a little bit higher, all right, but with a 60% closing, 66, like that's what the national average shows is 4 sales, all right? 4 sales, all right, with our Houston average, it's $400, is $1,600. By the way, Gray has higher than a $400 average order. But here's what's so cool, all right? That right there, he makes a $480 paycheck or higher working 1 day. Who'd be fired up about that, you know? So they work hard in the beginning to hit promotion, so then you can work part-time and make a full-time income. So guys, I'm sharing this because it's not in your manual. This is examples that managers know to give, but you have to watch my training or watch managers do it for you to go through that. So you can look at that. And then you talk about having fun at work, all right? Last thing is help you guys achieve, right? Achieve all the perks Vector has to offer. So I talk about, you know, the first thing, free stuff and prizes, right? So we have a slide. I'm like, yeah, I want to help you guys get off to a fast start. Win as much stuff. You guys can win over $1,000 in your first week on the job. How cool is that? We have travel, lots of trips available for reps and managers. We have a cruise we're going to be going on. Top reps this year can win a free trip to Jamaica. Last year they went to Puerto Vallarta. Managers are going to Germany this year. Went to Costa Rica last year. But every year there's some really cool trips that people can win. And we also want to help you guys hit the highest levels of commission, right? Work less and make more is the ultimate goal. And so guys, this right here, I can't read. Let's see here. Gray, can you read the highest commissions levels part, please?
Yes. So goal is to work less and make more is the ultimate goal. We will help you get there. We have a whole team of Cutco sales professionals. There are 50%ers. Many of them earn 6 figures selling Cutco full-time. They all started in college and then continued because of the income opportunity, travel, and flexibility. And you'll have a chance to meet them at team meetings and division events.
By the way, make a note, give examples. So College Station, I always use like Jonathan Schmitz as my example, but pick someone, whoever earned me, like last week or 2 weeks ago, you know, Jonathan in 1 week, all right, sold over 16 grand and made $8,000. By the way, in 1 day, he sold over 11 grand and made $5,500. Can anyone imagine earning over $5,000 in one day? That's pretty awesome, all right? And these guys, most of these guys, they all started in college, and they continued because of the income opportunity, travel, and flexibility. By the way, the next week, he went with his girlfriend down in Mexico for the week, came back, worked for another week, and then he just went back to Mexico for a week for 2 of our top Cutco sales professionals' weddings from Dallas, all right? So that's pretty cool. So sharing real life stories, because when they meet them, like, oh, that's Jonathan, that's that guy, and like it all comes together. So giving examples from our division, we have amazing people making a lot of freaking money. So share that. All right. So he's usually the person that I have an example almost for every story. And if there's someone in the room, I usually use them as an example for anything I can. All right. But I have certain examples. So he's my example there when I'm going through that. All right. Then we also have management opportunities. All right. And so I talk about GCLA. I'm like, we're always looking for assistant managers and future leaders. We have something called our Leadership Academy. You guys want to plug that. You want to have a killer summer? You guys want reps? We're excited about getting into leadership. We're excited about who get that there's so much more here than just selling knives. They can grow themselves. They can earn college credit. Maybe for school, they can prepare themselves in ways that you just can't do in school. So talking about how Vector is a great place to learn professional skills at a young age. Give an example. Give yourself as the example. All right. This is a perfect place for you guys to plug. Like me being blank age, being able to move up. Like that's amazing. You know, what companies, what multi-million-dollar companies allow, or even using someone who's 17 or 18. You know, Dan Hung, right out of high school. By the way, he was number 3 right behind College Station this weekend in new business for our whole division. All right. And he's 18 freaking years old. Or maybe he's 19 now. But that's pretty freaking awesome. All right. So sharing that, you know, and saying Dan right out of high school got to run his own office for the summer, and he put himself in a position where he went this fall as a career with our company. And I think he's still 18. If not, he just turned 19, you know, so something you guys can, He's 18. So use that as the example of like management opportunity, being a district, like being able to move up at a young age because of your attitude, because of your work ethic. That's pretty awesome. All right. Then you're like, so here's the recipe for success, right? And I talk a little more. I talk too much, but I talk about Wall Street Journal. I just share these things. I'm like, there's just so many great skill sets that people gain. Then you go into, so here's a recipe for success, how to succeed in Vector and have a fast start. All right. So this right here, we can go through, go ahead and read out loud. So you're going through, taking good notes. Excuse me. So JD, go ahead and read starts and training. So go, number 1.
All right, so number 1, take great notes. I speak pretty quick, so try to keep up.
By the way, everyone should be following along on your notes, just like we tell people to do in training. All right, go.
All right. Also, don't be distracted. You are now the CEO of your own business. What you put into training will pay back tenfold. Hold yourself to a high standard.
All right, number 3.
You also need to be working twice as hard. It's like preseason for sports. The harder you work now, the easier the job will be. What if
By the way, that's a place you can give a little personal example. Anytime you can teach through examples and stories, guys, it's the best thing you can do. Cool? So right there, what could you say? Hey, has anyone here played sports? You know, anyone done preseason? Yeah, you're doing 2 days, 3 days, right? Preparing you for the season. Same thing. The harder you work in the preseason, so treat training like that. You work harder here, it's going to make it a lot easier when you're out there. All right? Keep going.
What if the effort you put into the next few days could set you on a path towards financial success and security for the next 3 to 5 years? Or even maybe the rest of your life.
All right. And you guys say give example. For you, it could be a personal example. It could be a friend of yours. And if you guys don't have an example, you can use me. Cool? I came from a 2-bedroom apartment with 6 people in it. My mom still lives off of disability. My dad and Social Security. My dad was working 3 part-time jobs. He was on unemployment for several years. He was working 3 part-time jobs till about 2 years ago. All right. After, you know, being without a job for like, I don't know, some years. All right. He's an accountant before, but like, that's the family I came from. All right. And I still help them and I still support them with things. All right. And this job set me on a path where I'm never going to have to worry about money. My family's never going to have to worry about money. And I'm able to pursue my dreams and travel the world. And so you can share that. Be like, our division manager travels, you know, for at least 6 months out of the year. She's on the road, if not more, and going to places, cool places like Australia. She's in Australia, Fiji, doing cool things and being able to live the life. And it was this job that provided that. None of her family can do that. None of her family has money. And this really changed the course of that. So if you have a personal story, get personal. If you have a good friend, if it's your manager, and if not, you have a fallback. This job changed my freaking life. I do not know where I would be. And it's just not the way my family grew up, and it definitely changed life forever. All right. So again, this isn't school. You don't get a report card. Your report card, it's your paycheck. All right. Then it says this job's not for everyone. I tell people, I'm like, give yourself a real shot. And so that's why it says that on the PowerPoint. Give yourself a real shot. This job's not for everyone, all right? Most people love it, have an incredible experience. It's not for them, all right? My rule, work twice as hard. So I'm going to give you guys a couple little plugs for the rest of this because it's almost done. And I want you guys to just grab a partner and finish the opening comments. So a couple things. So you go into this weekend is crucial. You guys are going to read that. Comfortable environment. When you guys go through phone calls, guys, you want to emphasize on page 6 when you say you're going to make hours and hours of phone calls tonight and tomorrow, like under the phone call section, you want to say, like it says, it's not the most inherently fun thing to do. It's not sexy. Don't just read that. You need to emphasize that. So you're like, by the way, guys, we're going to make hours and hours of calls tonight, tomorrow. It is not the most fun thing. It is not the sexy part of the job. All right. But don't worry. It's just to build your foundation. Once your demos are set for a weekend, we have a cool program that makes it easy. And it's 5 before and 5 after. So you're always keeping your schedule full, reaching people. So you don't have to sit down, make hours and hours of calls. But tonight and tomorrow, it's necessary. So just grit your teeth, just get through it, all right? So that part you want to make sure, because you're explaining a very like not fun part and a scary part for them, but then like, okay, I can grit through it, I can get through it, you know? So really important that you're not just not reading words, but really telling them like, hey, it's not a sexy part. We're just going to grit our teeth. We're going to get through it together. We're going to make your first calls here to make sure you get your best 5. And so it's a good, comfortable environment. So you're talking about that. All right. So you talk about best 5, then you go through attitudes, everything, hard work. And again, you guys have slides for this. You're like maximize this weekend. Then we go through, you know, keys, 3 keys to selling Cutco. You guys talk about that. All right. Then you go through, or that's 3 keys to selling Cutco, and then you go through office rules, all right? So what I want you guys to do right now, we're going to do this quick. When I say stop, we're going to stop and regroup, and we're going to go to the next section, all right? But see if you can get through twice. You might not get to go through twice, but I want you guys to start with you're going to start with page 4, all right? So the second page of the actual, like, thing, page 4, an incredible support system, where you say, hey, we can expect 100% support from us. Start there on number 4 and just go through the next, it's just 4 pages, all right? So it's the rest of page 4, page 5, page 6, and page 7, all right? So you're just going to read those 4 pages. So grab a partner. If you're by yourself, those of you guys who are joining, just say it out loud to yourself, all right? Just say it out loud. There's a difference when you say it out loud and just reading it. So say it out loud, as many run-throughs as you can. Better for you guys, you get more run-throughs than the other guys. Everybody else, while your partner is saying it to you, what should you be doing?
Reading it.
Oh, by the way, let me just teach you guys all this right now. When you guys get to the role play section, right, which is going to be after the demo review, we'll get to that part. Here's how you set up role play. I'm going to show you right now how you do it with you guys. Ready? So, hey, guys, what we're going to do right now is we're going to stand up. And when I say go, not yet, you're going to grab a partner, okay? You're going to pick an A. You're going to pick a B. So let's do that. You got 3 seconds. And actually, no, we didn't do that yet. So I said you're going to pick an A and a B. We're going to do that here in a second. What's going to happen is one partner A, you know, like is going to be the rep, partner B, or whoever's going to be the customer, all right? And so what's going to happen is you're going to be practicing. So Rolando, let's say I'm practicing with you, right? And I just picked someone from the training class. So while you're reading to me, here's what I'm doing. I'm listening and I'm reading. Everyone watch my nonverbals, please. All of you guys watching right now. So I'm doing this. So you're reading and I'm like this. And then I'm saying it, la, 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 la. And then I'm hearing it and I'm reading it. And then I'm saying it, la, 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 and then I'm hearing it and I'm reading it. What are you seeing? 1, no eye contact, okay? There's a reason for this, all right? Why do you think I'm listening, I'm hearing it, I'm reading it, I'm saying it, I'm listening, I'm hearing it, I'm reading it, I'm saying it? What starts happening through that?
You learn it quicker.
All right? Your brain starts remembering that, all right? Because the human mind, and I would write this down, exactly what I said in my training class. The human mind remembers so much of what it sees, what it hears, of what it says to other people. When you combine that process, you retain that information a lot quicker. Again, why do we do this? The human mind remembers so much of what it hears, of what it sees, of what it says to others. And when you combine all of those together, it accelerates, all right? It makes you start retaining that information a lot faster, all right? A lot quicker. So that's what you explain. Like, so everyone good? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stand up. You have 3 seconds to pick a partner. Ready, set, go. All right, so pick a partner. 1, 2, 3, all right? Pick a partner A, pick a partner B. You have 3 seconds, go. 1, 2, 3. Who's A? Raise your hand, A's. Raise your hand, A's, all right? A, and by the way, we do this on purpose, because what do they think? If you're A, you're going what? First. So this always makes them laugh and changes the energy. But I say, all right, raise your hand, A. No, A, raise your hand. Point to B. and say, you're going first.
You're going first.
All right. So that's what they always do. They always laugh every time I run training. All right. So I'm going to put on some music here. So let's rock and roll. All right. So grab your partners, stand up. Let's do this. All right. So. Huh? Oh, no, you're not printing it out here. Okay. Huh? The guys living, we don't have it at home to print it, so you can, but you guys should have that. You can print it at home later. Just follow along on your computer. Pull it up on your phone.
She just sent it. Oh, she did.
All right, go. Just start reading to him. He can listen. David, read it out loud, even if you're there. You can whisper it.
There is no easy way. I am 100% well.
Hunter, who's going over there first?
Well, me and Eric are paired up right now.
Okay, cool. I just didn't hear much happening over there, but I want to make sure everyone's going through it. So cool.
Yeah, Philippe and Kamani and Victoria are in a group of 3, and then it's me and Eric right now.
Sounds good. Stand up, move the energy around. Pretend you're training. So stand up, hold your stuff, so you guys can go through that. All right? Let's go.
Get at least your first promotion on your first week. I am not okay with anyone making less than $100. Follow a program, you'll make that and probably a lot more.
We have lots
I want you to hit minimum 30, 30, maybe $2,000. Obviously, it's possible. My buddy, Brandon Letty, my PR.
Keep going, guys. Keep saying it. Go.
Don't be distracted. You analysis of your
You're only going to get to go through one speech probably, but if I haven't stopped you yet, just keep going. Jacob, follow along as he says that you can put it on your phone. Use this for right now until I need it back.
Kathy?
Kathy, how far are we going? Are we on to page 10? Page 10?
What's up, David?
Are we going to page 10?
Are we going over anything else?
No, are we going to page 10?
Oh, no, we are going through just the intro. We're page 7.
Oh, I just got unmuted. I can't hear you.
Hey, sorry, Hunter. I was saying let Philippe know that this is a different training too than the one he was running. Some stuff's the same, but it's been adjusted and updated and shortened and like rearranged the order. So you know. Hey. Get it, get it. Keep going, keep going. By the way, while your partner's reading, follow along. So you keep getting that information in your head. I want you to be comfortable. Highlight. Some guys don't have it printed, so just like read along, and then you do want to make sure you get that printed out so you can write notes on it. All right, guys, I'm stopping everyone. Everyone back to take notes. All right, everyone back to take notes, por favor. So let's see here. That means stop talking. All right, so here we go. So real quick, and I'll open it up to you guys. Let me see here if I can manage everything through here or not. Let me stop share. Oh, here we go. Manage participants. Okay, so I'm unmuting you guys. Any questions, things you weren't sure of going through that part? In addition, I want to say two things. One is on page 7, when you talk about cut food, be like, I know you guys got to use some of the stuff in the back. Be like, have you guys seen our scissors? Does anyone remember the scissors from the interview video? Because it goes fast. Some people remember seeing it, some don't. Make a note for yourself. It's in mine. Cut the penny. All right. So when you say cut food on your demos and you're sharing, and then just make sure to also cut the penny. You guys want to, when you're building like excitement for like the product and stuff as well, and just how great it is. Also make sure you throw in K-bar. So at some point in there, and I usually talk about actually why you're going to succeed here. And it's like best time of the year, best training, best territory. But I also talk about the best product. Like I kind of add that in there. It's not in here, but I usually talk about best product. I'm like, you have the best territory. I'm like, you have the best product. People use this stuff all the time. And it's not rinky dinky stuff. I'm like, this is like we make K-bar for the U.S. Marine Corps, you know, like that right there. And I have a copy of one here, but you guys can mention that. It's military grade stuff. All right. So hello, barking dog. So that is why I just wanted to point that out. Any other things, questions from you guys? Oh, actually, one last thing. When I give example of reps who follow the manual, you guys can give whatever example you have. An easy one you can all use, Taylor St. Laurent. Tay's been one of our top reps for 4 years. Tay follows her manual, all right? Like she came in this summer, she's like, all right, can I practice this with you? And she had her manual out. Even when she did a PC with a new guy, he's like going over his clothes with her. And she was literally looking at him like, and she's like, what are you saying? You know, and Will was like, oh, I just, you know, just kind of go through. And she's like, no. And she goes and like grabs a manual. She was just like, absolutely not. She's like, you need to stop doing that random crap and just follow the manual. She's like, I still read my manual. And by the way, and I tell them, I go, and by the way, she's a rep that the summer prior sold $40,000 in 2 weeks and was a top 10 All-American this summer, you know, or top scholarship winner. And so she reads right from there. So it's not advanced stuff. It's not basic stuff. It's everything. It's in there. You've got to get that down. The top reps, that is the foundation everybody has to their business. That's how you build a thriving business, is following that manual. So make sure you guys hit that. Everyone good? All right. Then we dive into the demo. Couple quick things here. All right, so when you guys are going to start, you're going through, everyone's on page 8 right now in your manual. So you guys go through, and it gives you who owns Cutco, training manual. The front cover, guys, circle this. This right here, I create a lot during the front cover. Let me do the front cover, because all it says here is what? Name, number, trainer, office number, advanced training times, team meeting time. That's all it says on here. So there's so much I create doing this part. So I'm going to do this part for you guys live. We're not going to be role-playing any more of this today, but I want to walk through some key points, and I'm going to do some parts for you guys to take some notes on. So when you guys do the front manual cover, all right, where's my manual? So here we go. So guys, everyone should have a manual now, right? All right. So you guys can write stuff on here. It shouldn't have all this on here, but whatever. So you've got your name, put your name, put your rep number, or actually you're going to get your rep number tomorrow when you guys sign your contracts. So we'll do that tomorrow. Office number, guys, this is important. Please put the office number. Ours is da 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 da. You're going to write this on all your order forms, okay? This is important when you're putting your orders online. You'll have to put the office, the rep number, all that. So again, you'll have that all tomorrow, but make sure that's on there so orders are going to the right office. Jay, can you get me a water, please? Then, guys, we have advanced training, all right? This right here, the more you do this weekend, the more valuable that'll be. Write this down. These are key things. So what did I just do with the rep number and office number? What did I just do? There was expectancy of sales. Do you guys see that? Like I know that they're going to sell. What did I say? Hey, you're going to put this on all your what? Order forms. It wasn't if you sell. It's, hey, you're going to be putting this on all your order forms. Hey, you're going to be doing this. There's a sales expectancy right there when we're going through that, okay? So you guys want to make sure that you're saying that. Then when I go to advanced training, another sales plug, I'm like, hey, the more max you see this weekend, the more valuable this will be. This training is designed where all the things we do for you this weekend over the phone when you call in, it's all going to make sense. You're going to know what we did, and you're going to get some advanced keys that are going to help you. But if you haven't done appointments this weekend, things won't make as much sense. And that's why we want you guys out there doing appointments. So we have advanced trainings for you guys. So, and for our office, we only do AT1 and AT2 in the non-summer. So I tell them AT1 is going to be this. We're going to go over stuff. So in basic training, so I tell them the analogy that in basic training, you learn layups. We're going to talk about that later, but you're going to learn your layup shots. Advanced training 1, you're going to learn close jump shots. Cool. Advanced training 3, you're going to learn 3-point shots. Our goal is by your end of your fast start, you know how to shoot all over the court, but you got to go one step at a time. All right. So the other advanced training sessions will be more one-on-one. There's different videos to help you guys succeed at a high level. All right. Then I talk about weekly team meeting. All right. This is where you guys, you want attendance to your stuff. You got to create a desire for them to be there. So team meeting, build it up. Hey guys, this is a time where I get to just hang with you. We get time together. And if you're still in another office right now running training, you build up Jordan, you build up Spencer, you build up whoever it is. But even when we're gone, you're building you guys up. You guys get access so that we can just get time to hang. You guys can ask free questions. All right. I would build up. So for any of you guys, build up. Billy, JD, you guys paid for coaching, all right? Many of you guys have paid for coaching. If you haven't, use the top guys, all right? Jonathan spends over $20,000 a year on personal coaching, all right? So like people that help him in his business, as do most of the top guys. So why do I bring this up? You have access to some of the best minds. You have free access. And so this is my analogy. I go, imagine you played basketball, right? And you got a chance to practice with top team every week, and not just practice, but hang out after and get pointers and be like, hey, can you help me with my shot with this? Or hey, can you help me? So use whatever analogy. You want to use a baseball analogy, they just won the World Series. You want to use about whatever you want to use, but imagine you just got to go practice and then just get to know them, build friendships. These are national champion people in our business that you have accessible to you. So when you come to team meetings, and write this down, when you come to team meetings, come ready to impact your business. Can you have at least 1 or 2 things that you want to get better at? So you can ask me or ask our experienced reps, hey, how do I get better with this? How do I increase this? Cool. Come intentional, ready to impact your business. Yes, it's fun. It's fun to hang out. It's fun to do stuff together, but also you get a chance to impact your business. Okay. And that leads me to the next thing, personal coaching. Who here knows? Put down a note. Use the analogy of a trainer. All right. Who here knows someone who has a personal trainer or a coach? Anyone know someone? All right. If you don't know, every professional athlete, every singer, every theater, they have a coach. Why do they pay for coaches? To improve. All right. To improve or to maintain and to be pushed and to keep always getting better. Not just people who suck have coaches. The best have coaches because they know and they pay for that. It keeps them on their game. Guys, you have this for free. You get personal coaching sessions. All right. When you guys first start off, I would try to get all 4 of those your first week. But within your first month, how soon can you get your first personal coaching sessions? All right. And then beyond that, you guys can see when your team coach, when your team leader has time that they can keep having them. But ideally, you're having a coaching session once a week, every single week. And if you can get more, heck yeah, get it. It's free coaching. All right. We're our top guys. And this is where I say our top guys pay for this. You guys don't pay for it. Jonathan pays for this. All right. Chad pays for this. Billy paid for this. Roman paid for this. These guys paid for this. All right. So take advantage of they're giving you what they paid for free. So, I mean, I would want as much free knowledge that costs them money as possible. And by the way, they're more than happy to share it. And I would make a note of that. They share willingly. When they're like, I'm not going to tell you that because I paid for it. So I'm not going to tell you. All right. Everyone here is so great about sharing tips, keys, things that they know to help you improve. And so that's pretty awesome. So you're building that up. So now are people excited about getting PCs? Hell yeah. They're not like, oh, I have to come in for a coaching session. Oh, we have a team meeting. If you don't build it up, it's like, oh, I have to do all this stuff for this job. It's a chore. I have to do that versus oh shit, I can't wait to go to a team meeting. Oh my God, I'm gonna try to get as many free coaching sessions as I can. That's awesome. That I don't have to pay for it. Do you guys see how you frame it? All right, creates a different desire. and you have a rep who hates coming to meetings or like, oh, I got to meet with you, Hunter, we're having another coaching session, versus like, I get to meet with Hunter and get free coaching from him. Heck yeah. And so that's how they should be. That's how they should feel. Okay. So that's really important for you guys. All right. Are you guys seeing up there? All right. Got it. He dabbed. That's great. All right. Then, guys, the last things are really quick. I say you got the office number. You guys can give them your own personal number. All right. Then field service is for anything you guys need. Cutco customer service is for customers. Guys, Vector Connect, here's another place where, again, I'm planting the seeds of sales, meaning I know they're going to sell. All right. So I'm like, hey, by the way, this right here is how you'll log in. You'll have access to this tomorrow once you sign your contract. And this is where you're going to put all your orders in. Cool. All your orders go right online. I'm going to show you how to do it tomorrow. It's super easy. Commission checks. All right. You guys can check those and you can look at your commissions each week. That's awesome. They email to you on Thursdays. It tracks all your customers for you, so you can email them for future orders. All right. You're not writing this down. You better be saying this stuff when you're running training. And then, guys, there's a learning library. And, guys, the learning library is freaking phenomenal. You have audios. You have written stuff, you have, and so you're pointing this stuff out to them. And again, for free. Cool. Free access, some of the greatest minds in Cutco. You're just like, dang. All right. So I want you guys to maximize this. Then you've got Cutco.com for Cutco information. And then, guys, virtual demo. So again, here, build up. So I'll say, hey, Roman, do you know anyone that lives outside of Houston? All right. So this is awesome because, by the way, every mom, everybody knows somebody outside of the city. Cool. Whether it's a friend or a family member that lives outside of the city, who here knows someone right now at the top of your head that you're like, oh, this would be great. They would love this, that doesn't live here. All right. So a virtual program is fantastic because you can do it right online. I love it better than the live, and I build that up. I'm like, because it literally shows you everything. There's videos for everything. There's testimonials in there. You guys will see when I show you tomorrow. It's freaking awesome. You're welcome to go online tonight and check it out and click to do it with your book. You'll see it's super great. Our guys sell a ton of Cutco virtually as well as live. Sounds good? All right. So again, this is, can you grab waters for everyone and hand them out? So by the way, this is great. Because do you guys see that? So if you're brand new, you might have just gone what? Put the office number, put this, put advanced training and team meeting. Do you guys see how much more I created? Yeah. So this is why, like, great managers, the difference between like great managers and average managers, like they know how to like create sales through promotion. All right. So are you promoting things in a way where you're creating expectation, you're creating more sales? This is really huge. So this is the whole little things that make a big difference, right? When you watch top reps, like when you like your nonverbals, like you know how to like build up stuff, like use things where a new rep might not, right? They just kind of go through the motions. You guys being new are like new reps running training, like just going through the motions versus like, you know, the psychologies behind it of how you explain stuff. And isn't that awesome? And Andy's always like, you know, how you shine stuff and how you hand it to them and how all these things build value, like all the psychologies. It's the same thing with when you're running training. Training is a big demo. I was telling this to Roman last week. I'm like, it's literally a big demo. When you're running that, like they are your demo. You're not telling them in training, oh, say sets, say this. You're not saying that. You're just doing it. They're your customer. So everything you want them thinking about, you're just doing it. You're not teaching it to them. That's really bad if you're teaching all that. You're not teaching them the next tool in your set when you're talking about stuff. You're just doing it naturally. You just do it. You don't teach it to them. That's all they're hearing and they naturally copy. Then in advanced training, that's when you teach it. And it's like, oh, you know, and like now it's like, whoa, yeah, that's why I'm going to sell, you know? So those are all, and it's just, it's gaming. The first weekend, they don't listen to half the shit you say anyway. So it's like, just read the damn book, you know? But you need to teach it exactly how you'd be talking to a customer. Don't say this knife, the next tool in your set, the next tool. They are a big demo of yours. You want them to buy a big set, right? You want them selling big sets. When you guys are doing cutting clinic, okay, in the beginning, and when you guys are doing cutting clinic later, all right, what is your excitement when you're cutting stuff up? Are you like, oh, try our peeler, it's really cool? Or are you like, hey, try our peeler, it's really cool? Or are you like, dude, check this peeler out, Roman style, all right? You got to get fired. Why? I'm going to unmute. My guys, don't say it yet. You'll go last. All right, does anyone know why you're not like your level? Some of you guys are like at a 5-6 in excitement. Like rate yourself right now. When you're showing reps in training, you know, how excited do you feel you are when you guys are showing stuff to representatives? What would you rate yourself in excitement? All right. Would anyone say that they feel they're at 10? All right, anyone? By the way, some of you might feel you're a 10. A 10 is still not great if you want them to sell a lot. Why?
They're like 7 steps.
Not my guys. Huh?
They're like 7 steps below you or something.
3.
Okay, so Hunter, sorry. So by the way, no, their customer will be about that because every step is about 3 steps of enthusiasm lower, right? So your rep needs to go to so for a customer to buy, all right, if the customer is at you definitely want them to buy, they need to be like at a 6 or higher, right? Like a 5 is a maybe, right? So think about a scale of 1 to 10, 5 being maybe. So I need the customer to be at a 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, or I want them at a 10, all right? Which means the rep has to be at a 13 if the customer's made a 10, which means you have to be like a 16. 17. All right? So you got to think about that. So who here's heard Francisco give a talk or Andy give a talk and they're like, oh my God, Miss Joe, look at this. All right. There's a reason they have over $1,000 average order with a 95% closing ratio because their enthusiasm is like, Miss Jones is like, hell yeah, I'll buy everything. Like they're so fired up. All right. Because they're like crazy. Like it is nuts watching them. It's hysterical. But that's why they have the highest closing percentages. Every person who is super like, oh, look at this, like so excited, they have the highest closing percentages. Even some of the best reps in our division don't have the killer closing percentages because they're more like, oh, chill, like that. But it's when you have that's why Fran sells like that. That's why Andy sells like that. I've worked with a lot of reps who had that excitement and enthusiasm. They feed off of you. All right. So you guys are managers. So as a manager, we've got six more. You can't be at a 10. If you're at a 10, your rep's at a 7, your customer's at a 4. They're not buying. So you can't just be at a 10. You got to be like a Cutco junkie. You're like, oh, dude, have you ever used a peeler? I'm like, oh my God, come here. Check this thing out. It goes front, it goes back. It's just ridiculous. Like you got to be excited. Even if you're like a laid back person, you got to use your nonverbals. So Gray, I need you like this, bro. You got to be like, have you seen have you seen this peeler? Oh my God. Let me show you. All right. I know you might not be like Roman, like, boom, look at that, boom. You know, like I understand, Gray, you're probably not gonna do that. And that's that. But anyone who's more like chill, laid back, your nonverbals become so important. Everyone see this? So important. So if you're not like, yo, like, just, oh my gosh, look at this. This is amazing. All right. So crazy eyes. All right. But your nonverbals, when you're more like quiet and laid back, that's how and by the way, tell reps in training that too. You might have some reps who are a little more quiet, a little more laid back. And you're like, hey, for those of you guys who are a little bit more like softer, like use your nonverbals. Like, oh, Ms. Jones, check this. Oh, customers love this. Your nonverbals will do a lot for you. Okay. So anyway, I just want to make sure you guys know you can't just be at a 10. And some of you guys aren't even at a 10. You got to be like on fire so that they're like, heck yeah. So they go super excited to their customers. All right. So that's a really big tip I can give you guys. Then you go through. So how he has it set up here. So let me show you guys how I do this. It says group reads out loud together. You can do that. That's your choice, or you can popcorn read. All right. And I'm just like, Ricky, go ahead. First thing. All right. Jay, take over. Okay. JD, take over. You know, as you're going through each section, you can popcorn read or you can have them do it together. All right. So you go through, company, you go through disadvantage to common knives. Jay?
So like, would that just more be kind of determine how many people have in training?
Up to you, your style. I like popcorn reading. Drew likes group reading. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter as long as they're all following along, and they're like, they don't know when they're going to be called on, so it's like the next person's going, so they're actually like reading along. So I think that's important. I actually do have them role play. He doesn't have a separate section for role play anymore. I just have them role play the first 2.5 pages, and the rest they'll practice the next day when they practice the demo or they come in early. So I'll talk about that. So let's go through the last things here before we wrap up the night. I want to go through some other key points throughout the first day. So disadvantage common knives. I mean, you guys can read through there. Guys, again, it's a demo. So as you're walking through it, think of a demo. Your nonverbals, you're saying sets, everything you're doing, just pretend you're on a demo. You're just walking through it with them. Cool? But your excitement needs to be, higher than on a demo, because you need them to have excitement on a demo. That's the biggest thing. Page 9, it gives you testimonials as you talk about stuff. If you have your own and you want to share your own, share your own. Cool. But just, again, people you've met, stories, testimonials are always awesome. Page 10, names and uses. All right. So here, where it says teach / promote, when you go to do, so when I do the names and uses, I actually do this live. I would watch my training on this, okay? If they feel comfortable and they know how to show the homemaker set and they know the tools without reading in the manual, they know that's for the air, that's for small slicing, that's for this, and they get that, they're gonna sell a lot more sets, all right? So watch that part of my training. You can fast forward to it and watch me do it when we go to cutting, all right? So that's my break food. It actually takes I do my names and uses around the food, and then I give them 5 to 7 minutes to eat whatever we cut up, to chop up stuff themselves. I know we've been making salsa the last 2 weeks. You don't have to make salsa. You can cut up watermelon, you can cut up fruits, and everyone just eats whatever's there. But you want them using the stuff and having some fun with it, okay? Next, we go to competitors and value. By the way, where did I write this out? Hour by hour of day 1. I know I put them.
Oh, I have the.
No, not day 2, but day 1. I did it for as well. It's on the sheet. It's on the cover that has the time. So we got to find that cover because I put it minute by minute on it. Yeah, I've got, and I posted that in our group, but I didn't post the day 1, which I did. So I'm gonna see if I can find my day 1. No, that's his. I'm saying the one that matches my video. So you'll know where's what on my video. Our times are a little bit different on how we do stuff. My demo is shorter, my cut code demo part. And then our value is the same exact time. It's both an hour and 15 minutes. Mine is just in a little different order. So if you want to watch Drew's, here's what I'll tell you. Drew has a different territory than we do. We have a lot more, we get a lot more lower, middle and lower class. Where their territory is a little bit more upper. So something that I found, because I was always in more urban territories down in Florida and in Miami, the parts I was at. So if I started talking about how people, that knives cost $2,000 or whatever, and I went straight into the prices of the competitors, I would lose the group. They're like, who spends $2,000 on knives? You're crazy. And I'm like, oh, and it's just a mess and nobody's listening. So I had to get them all oh yeah, I spend that kind of money right in the beginning. So when I went cross-training in 2006 in Queens, I watched one of my mentors, one of my best friends, she was in my wedding, Rachel, go through with a very scary group that probably shouldn't have all been working with knives. But I remember her going through, and I copied something. What I do today, my value intro, I learned from her in 2006, and I've done it every training always before I go into value. And it's something that that the manual has in the training manual. You actually go through it later, a version of it, which is what you spend money on and what your customers spend money on. All right, page 15, which is right at the end of the value. All right, page 15, that whole part. I actually start with page 15 and what's on the end of page 16. I start with that because my whole thing is, guys, we're about to go into prices of what knives cost and things. But guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to lose you guys if you don't get yourself out of the I'm a student mentality and get yourself into I'm a homeowner. Because the fact is everybody spends money on stuff. And then you're going through, it says here, the way you spend money is way different than homeowners. And so what it's talking about on page 15, I actually start with that, with my value. And I give an example and I say, because you're talking about all these things people spend money, but I actually give a specific example of every one of you guys know somebody who would spend who could buy $1,000 from me today, who's 17 or 18, every one of you. And you might be like, I don't know, unless you know the drug dealer, but you might be like, I don't know anyone who can spend that. I want to show you guys. Every single one of you knows somebody that could buy $1,000 today. All right. So this is something that I add to page 15, which again is how I open this example. And I say, let's look at it. By the way, is your 18-year-old buddy going to hand you $1,000? Today? Probably not, unless they are the drug dealer. They just don't. Most 17, 18-year-olds don't just have $1,000 lying around. All right. But every one of you guys knows at least one, if not multiple, of these people. And so how they're going to pay for it is how our customers do. By the way, our customers, most of them are middle class. They're not wealthy people. If somebody can just spend $1,000 whenever they see something they want and they like, they're not middle class. They're upper income. All right. I went to the store today. I had to buy a couple things. I spent $600, whatever, that's fine. Moms do that all the time. I literally went to Lululemon, bought a couple, 2 leggings, a sweater, a shirt for my husband, something else. And like, there's a lot of other moms in there doing the same thing. All right. So if someone can just spend, that, you know, $1,000, no problem. It's not like a big deal. They're not like, oh my God, I got to check the budget, and they can spend it. They're not middle income. They're upper income. Okay. That's not our clientele. Our clientele is actually middle income. That's our target market. So our target market is not going to be just like spending that today, because no middle class family just, you know, they plan ahead for that. They budget ahead for that. Right. So how are they going to buy? Because by the way, we sell the heck out of $1,000 orders to middle class customers, but do they pay in full? No. Do you guys remember in the interview how people can do payments? All right, so they do 5 pay. So what they'll do is our easy pay, which means they put down $200 today. Cool? Who here knows a 17 or 18-year-old or 19-year-old who spent $200 before on a pair of sneakers, pair of jeans, music festival? Like, raise your hand. Anyone who's knows someone. And by the way, when I'm going into this section, I actually have this slide, and I'll show you guys who are watching what the slide looks like. All right, here you go. So I have this slide, and I go, so who here knows somebody who's ever bought a pair of Ray-Bans, you know, or Costas, or a pair of sneakers, or gone to a music festival, or a VIP night, or whatever, who spent $200 before? Who knows? Everybody raised it. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I had friends who spend on jeans, you know, like they really love nice jeans. People that spend on sneakers. Who knows someone who has more than one pair of sneakers that cost $200? By the way, some of your most ghetto people are the ones that are like, yep, I do. All right, so but they're with you, and that's what I want. I want them with me, that they spent that money, so that they're not later when I'm talking about money, like, who has that kind of money? You spent that money on stupid stuff, all right? So that's where I want them, like, putting that together in the beginning, not at the end, because I want them all with me, and I don't want them to get chaotic. So I'm like, all right, so cool. Let's break it down further, by the way. Most of our customers, what they're doing, by the way, is that means in their budget, they have to put aside $50 a week. Cool? Who here knows somebody who spends $50 a week, every week, on stupid stuff, going out, partying, they don't remember what happened the next day? Anyway, I knew people in school who spend that on illegal substances every week, all right? And I say that every training, there's always like Snickers and lots. I'm like, it's true. I'm like, I had friends who spend that every week. And if young people can find $50 a week to spend on stupidity, you better believe a family can, all right? And by the way, we're talking about a married, average age homeowner, which means that there are 2 incomes, cool? Which means they're putting aside $25 each. Guys, if somebody works full time, can they afford $25 each? Yes. Yes or no?
Yes.
People spend that on cigarettes. People spend that on Starbucks. People accidentally spend that on just other random stuff. All right. So I want to point this out before we dive into prices. We're going to go through a lot of numbers. We're going to go through some big numbers. Cutco is not cheap. It is an investment. All right. And I tell them, I go, our bigger sets, guys, are thousands of dollars. And we're going to talk about right now what moms spend money on stuff, all right, are not hundreds of dollars. It's thousands of dollars things in home. And I Sofa said, like, these things cost money, all right? But I want you guys, when I talk about this, I go, so I want to make sure you guys get yourself, again, out of the I'm a student, because if I gave you guys a couple grand to go play, who here would go buy knives? Yeah, no. And I say, I'm like, I have people like, you know, Louis Ozio, he made $4,000, right, over $4,000 on his first paycheck. Well, guys, he came into my office, and I've seen this a bunch of times. People buy stuff. They come in with a new suit, new clothes. Billy came in. He's like, oh, I bought some new clothes. You know, different people buy stuff, and they'll, like, hook up their wardrobe, buy stuff for their car, buy a new car, whatever. Louis walks in, all right, strutting, and I'm like, what? And he's like, you notice anything different? I'm like, you're walking funny. And he's like, check this out. And I was like, what is that? And this is a true story. He had lime green Gucci loafers on. And he's like, aren't these sick? And I was like, and he's like, nah, Kat, you don't know. And he, like, goes up, you know. And I'm like, how much were those? I buy Gucci. I know how much were those? He's like, they were on sale. They were on sale. How much were those? He's like, it was only $800. I'm like, sit down. I'm like, right now. I made him sign of his paychecks for the rest of the summer to, like, be put away. But I'm like, he just made more. And I built this up. I'm like, he just made more. By the way, this is all building sales expectancy, excitement, what people earn. This is all building that up as I'm telling the story. My stories all are doing multiple things. But I'm like, I go, so by the way, he just made, and again, holy shit, that's awesome. He just made $4 grand his first week. That's more than the average college kid of the same. That's what a college kid makes in a summer. He made it in a week. He didn't need any more money, so I made him sign that thing off. But the whole point of this, guys, and the point for them, but I'm planting a bunch of seeds, is like, I have 17, 18-year-olds. I make all these guys make $2 to $5 grand their first week on the job. I have never had a 17-year-old walk in and be like, I think I'm going to get new curtains for my room. Haven't had that happen, all right? But I have had moms. Marie's like, oh, I'm gonna get stuff for the house, you know, like, because she's a mom and she's a grandma, all right? She takes care of her granddaughter. And by the way, guys, 30 to 60-year-olds, and I always say this, 17 to 25-year-olds spend money on entertainment and appearance primarily. 30 to 60-year-old homeowners primarily spend money on their home and their kids. Write that down. It's not in your manual. 17 to 25-year-olds spend most of their money on entertainment and appearance. Entertainment and appearance. So once you talk about all the stuff you spend money on, which is like page 15 in your notes, but I would recommend putting it as like the first page of value.
Which is 11.
Value, nope, page 12, right before page 12. So yeah, right after, or no, you're right. It's the middle. It is page 11. I turned to the wrong page. So as we go into the value, you know, I just do page 15 first. But I say 17 to 25-year-olds spend money on entertainment and appearance. 30 to 60-year-olds, guys, they spend money on their homes and their kids. That's where they spend most of their money. Cool? So then that's where you talk about what homeowners spend their money on, right? And so that's the rest of page 15 and into page 16. And so I talk about what does a dining table cost? What is this? Like a lot of people don't know what those things cost. So again, you guys see that all in the notes on page 15. That's where I talk about all that. And then I dive into, okay, let's talk about what things in stores cost. So then I dive right into page 12. So if you watch like my train, it's just going to be in a different, and actually at page 11, sorry. And what he has is the first, we're actually the opposite. The first thing he has on 11, value versus price, is how I wrap up this section. I started with what he ends with. He started like, we just flopped, all right? We have the same results. We just have different territories. Those are two important things. It's an opening and a closing. I just flip the order that I do them because I need my people with me because we have different money earnings. All right. So any questions on that? All right, cool. The rest, you guys are reading through there, and you guys said this, by the way, you guys, we'll talk more about this. We're going to dive into value. I really want to hit this hard when we're in Olean this week. Those who are not in Olean, you guys need to talk to your managers so you watch mine. It's not going to go along word for word. This is where Drew and I are different. Drew, a lot of it is similar stuff. Like I'm reading his script and I was just laughing because I've been doing the same value for 15 years, 14 years, same value before he was a DM. And he came to Florida and cross-trained when he was new in 08. All right. A new DM, and he crushed it. I mean, he took a lot of stuff and he's been on stuff, but it's a lot of the same stuff because what he learned is what I learned back in the day, and he came and cross-trained and he took that stuff. So you're going to hear a lot of the same content, but I've never adjusted to a different manual than the first one I learned that I scripted back in 2004, or 2003. So it's not going to go along with this script, but it's a lot of the same content. Just listen and write some notes on here. This is just good because the thoughts are all organized really well. When you watch mine, just steal little one-liners, steal little stories, and add them in here. Cool? That's what I would do when you watch the value part. Then you go into closing, all right? Once you guys get to closing, like to go to prices, all right? And so this is on page 18, all right? When you guys get to page 18, and by the way, page 17 is so huge. In my training, if you guys look at all the, if you guys look at all of my pages during this part, it's just like, you know, there's stuff underlined. When I get to page 17, this is what it looks like on page 17, all right? There's a big freaking star. There's so much stuff here that's really important that you don't forget to talk about. Big thing that I put a square around is the no's are good, but it's talking about the whole, like, people are going to swing when they're comfortable. All right. Like some people don't swing on the first pitch. Some people it's the second pitch, you know? So if they can afford a galley, they can afford a homemaker. It's just what they were more comfortable with. All right. $25 a week or $20 a week, you know, like that doesn't make or break the bank. It's the same thing. It's just what they're more comfortable with. Closing a sale is finding your customer's comfort zone. Okay. So when you go to page 18, bonus, you want to establish credibility for yourself. When you get to here, you don't tell them to turn there. When you finish page 17, make a note for yourself. Bottom of page 17, do the close them. They're your demo. So this is, if you watch my training, you'll see me do this. So I'm like, so guys, if they don't buy a set, it's no big deal. You just drop down, you know, whatever. When you finish there, when you dive into going into the prices, I'm like, so guys, when it comes to high quality cutlery, guys, it's like anything else. There's a wide range of quality and prices. And Coco's top rated, so we only compare to the highest quality brands, right? So what you guys are gonna do in your book, you'll actually have an example, or you'll have like printed. By the way, I showed you guys examples before, right? From Macy's, Williams-Sonoma, because you already went through that. So you guys can print out your own, but your book will have the prices from Williams-Sonoma, all right? So these are the prices from there. So you'll show them here. And so these, again, top rated. Stores, these brands have different sets that range in price, all right? Woostop is the most purchased, and as you guys see, or you saw earlier, it retails for $3,435. You can find them on sale for about $2,000, all right? There are some differences between us and them. And guys, what am I doing? I'm doing page 8 and 9 to them. Cool? They have no idea. I didn't tell them to turn to page 8 and 9. I didn't tell them. This is really huge. You do it for them, and I'm like, so guys, at twice the price, we're talking about over $4,000, and you write that on the board, all right? And so I'm like, so it's like buying a nice refrigerator like we talked about, or a really nice set of tools. Now, our Homemaker Plus 8 is our most popular set, and you keep going. Like, hey, the great thing is that it's not $4,000. It's not, and you do it, all right? You do it just like on a demo, all right? And they're like, oh, and I'm like, so guys, that's how you present prices, all right? So, and I don't even say I just did it. I just go, so now everyone turn to page 8 and 9 so we can walk through this. And so we'll start reading. I'm like, Ricky, start reading why sets are better. And we had already talked about why sets are better. And so you read that out loud, that part. And I'm like, all right, selecting the best option, Jacob, start. And he starts reading it. And at the bottom of page 8, I go, by the way, does that sound familiar to anyone? And they're like, because as they're reading it, some of them are like, wait a second. They're like, deja vu. I'm like, I just did that to you guys. When I started saying, hey guys, when it comes to high quality cutlery, it's like anything else. There's a wide range of quality and prices. Cutco's top rated, so we only compare to the best stuff. And then they're like, whoa, you know, and they're looking, I'm like, I could go through the whole thing. I go, I do the same thing. We all do the same thing. This exact same flow. We compare with the competitors, like you see on page 8. We present the price to the customer and write it down like I did to you. And then you look at them and you say, hey, do you want to go ahead and get that today? You look in between the eyes and you ask for the order, all right? And so now you walk through and you can keep reading through here. But that's just a really powerful thing. It's going to help you guys sell more, all right? Then, guys, you guys will walk through. We're going to do this and the names list. I did email you guys my names list. Please read that on the plane. Those come in Olean. Those back home, I want to make sure you guys are really comfortable going through the names list talk. So my names list talk, literally you can read it. You read it word for word and flow through it. You should average, everyone should be getting, the majority of the class should all have over 70 names when they're like 50 to 70 is like the average, but over half the class should have 70 plus if you guys do that properly. And you literally just read that, the script that I sent you guys to them, all right? In Olean, we're going to be talking about best 5. Those of you guys back home, you're going to have some catch up because there's a bunch of training on, parts of training here that we're going to be going over on Saturday in Olean. So you guys are going to want to take some time to study on your own to make sure you're not behind those of you guys who have done that. And again, you have my training, so you guys can watch this whole section on my training. I'll post it in the group so you have the link to my training. All right. And we'll talk more about this. We're going to talk a lot more in Olean about this, but it's really going to be where we're going to close day 1 is wrapping it up in Olean. So I'm going to see if when we're together, if I am able to stream it and record it for you guys so that you guys have that. So we'll try to do that. All right. Just so it's not a distraction to you guys. So make sure that you guys are with me. All right. All right. Yes. So I know you guys are like, whoa, there's 3 Kathys. All right. Yeah. Sorry. We got ADD happening to the max over here with like you guys on the TV. So anyway, last things. I want to go over this. So we're going to go through and finish day 1. So I'm going to record and stream for you guys. Hopefully I can get online or use my hotspot when we're there. When we have our meeting Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 8:30, wrapping up some final things on day 1. Cool? So we'll finish day 1 this week. So those not coming, you need to watch that. You don't have to watch it at 7 a.m. on Saturday, although I encourage you to do so and join us live. I'll be streaming on here. But I would say for sure you need to rewatch it and take notes. If not, you're going to be behind. The next month is going to be day 2. You guys should be practicing different parts of day 2. I'm going to send an email with some pointers and tips and keys for day 2. Because when we get together December 15th, we have a long prep. It's going to be, guys, I changed the time. Please mark this in your calendars. Our next meeting is live. I will see everyone here in my office. Every single person will be here in my office. Assistant managers will join as well, candidates, and they will have a breakout in the other room for them. Branch candidates, we're diving hard into day 2, 12 to 6 p.m. on Friday the 15th. It was 10 to 4 before. We're moving 12 to 6. December 15th. Write it down. Put it in your calendar. Adjust the date. Listen up. What Friday? December 16th. Noon to 6. Friday the 15th. What did I say? Sorry. Friday the 15th. Friday the 15th. Friday the 15th. All right. 12 to 6. And then right after, and it's a potluck, we have the holiday party at my house. It'll be housewarming, holiday party. We're going to have tables set in the back. We're going to have lights all surrounded. We have a huge backyard now. We just moved to a new house, so it's my housewarming as well. So we have a huge backyard. So we'll have music in the back. We're going to have games. We're going to have water pong. We're going to have like bags. We're going to have different Disney games and stuff. Yeah, all right. So we'll have some fun. But listen, holiday party. I want to invite families to come join if they want to come meet us as well. So I know some people like to have some beverages. You can do that later if you're of age. So those over 21 can definitely enjoy beverages with us later, but not at 6:30. All right. So the holiday party is going from 6:30 to 10:30. Tell your parents, parents or family coming, tell them to come join us from 6:30 to 8:30, and then tell them we're having a team bonding after. But we'll be at the house from 6:30 to 10:30. 6:30 to 8:30, promote that to families who want to come have dinner with us. And then 8:30 to 10:30 will be some fun games and bonding with everyone at the house. Okay, so that is Friday the 15th. Be ready to rock for that. Startup money. What else can you get in? I'm giving Lloyd tomorrow. All right, so anyone who wants to Venmo me money tonight, even if it's $50, $100, anything else you want to put into your, to help you stand out, we're doing all re-rankings tomorrow again. Anyone I haven't showed, we actually have a full chart. I have to finish updating it on the plane tomorrow morning. When we get to our meeting tomorrow evening for dinner, we have to have by 5 p.m. into Lloyd our updated deployment, updated savings accounts for everybody, rankings for everybody, attendance. And so you guys get rated on personal sales for the month, for the campaign, for the year, and career sales. There's like a column for each of these. Savings, all right, savings accounts that you have, attendance, which I have to put, like, have you guys attended all events? Because event to event is a very important thing. And so we rate everybody, not just divisionally, but everyone's rated for Southwest region because all 8 division managers turn in their stuff, and then Brian will compile it and do a whole divisional report. So this is something that if you guys haven't seen this before, and I'll send all the, I'm going to send the PowerPoint to you guys too, so you guys have that and you guys can practice with, all right? But this is something that they put out every single, that gets sent out to managers, all right? And so I'll show you guys stuff from it. Let me see if this is the regional one or just mine, all right? Yeah, so this is the regional one. So you guys can see this right here. Hold on. You guys won't. Or actually, I'll just tell you what is on it. So week CPO, month CPO, campaign, year, career CPO. Then it has your AM, if you're an AM, if you're unpaid, how much do you have withheld? How much money do you have put away? PRs, right? Attendance. And those are all things that are in there. So if you want to move anything, someone just message me. I think, Kamani, can you move for my AM withholdings, take blank for my tax withholdings? Any movement of your money into your manager investment account, you need to email it to me. Cool? I need it emailed because I'm going to be doing that tomorrow when I'm at the airport in the morning. I'll be working on that. So email me tonight for any movement. At latest tomorrow, I need final things in by 3 p.m. because when I get there, I need to work on it. I need to finalize my charts and I need to submit it before 5 to Brian. So my deadline's 5. I need your deadline to be 3 the latest. The earlier you get it to me, the more it helps me make sure I have everything done for the division and all of our projections done. Because I also have to put what office everyone, I have to put deployment. Like if we were going to open next month, who's going to what territory? I already have that done, by the way. So I know who in my head right now, but changing on rankings, I'm going to adjust some people. I'm going to move people around, but I turn that into them. So they know every office we're opening, who's going to every office. I already worked on that with Jordan last month. So there'll be adjustments made, and then final adjustments. Most of the final adjustments will be made by December 15th. There'll still be some open end because some guys are off. That's why I said 95% decisions are done, and there'll be some movement. Anyone who does another territory in December, which I'm only going to tell probably about a third, 30-40% will actually know. The ones that are for sure. And then first week of January, final decisions will be made before year-end banquet, because on January 12th in Austin, you'll get recognized on stage. Cool? To be recognized on stage, you have to have a minimum of $1,000 in your manager savings, is what it's been in the past. I think they talked about making it $1,500 because we have so many top candidates this year. But by January 12th, it's in your management account. You have $1,500. And then to get recognized with your plaque and everything at the year-end banquet. You guys do want parents there at year-end banquet. It's phenomenal to have them there and just for them to see like how big the company actually is, how much opportunity is here, and how much it benefits you guys. So I would encourage your family to come to year-end banquet. The banquet is on Saturday. And you guys could write this down so you have it and you can tell your families. Saturday, the 13th of January, all right? Saturday, the 13th of January, downtown Austin, all right, at the Hilton in downtown Austin. We'll get you guys where and all that later, but it's in Austin, downtown. It's on Saturday, the 13th, so they can drive over and be there for the conference and come home, or they could stay the night if they want, all right? Their hotel's not covered. Yours is, during the event, but we definitely would love to have your parents there, all right? So just so you know, important dates. So we have Friday the 15th. Then we have year-end banquet on the 12th and 13th, Friday and Saturday is the event. Everyone typically leaves on Sunday. Those who hit standard of excellence for the year, all of our top reps and managers have standards night on Sunday night, which is amazing. And that's something that you can definitely work towards next year. But just so you guys know things coming up, by January, we want everyone to know their territories, because then you guys can start adding people on Facebook from the high schools from your territory. So if I'm you, I'm like, all right, like my territory was 4 hours away. So whoever's like, if you're going to Beeville or if you're going to Livingston or Palestine or wherever it is, we have some great territories that are further away that have been untapped that you could rock the crap out of, When someone went to Celia a couple years ago, they did 250 grand plus over in Celia, Oh, did you?
Yeah, I actually ended up meeting with his uncle.
Oh, nice.
He was telling me about it.
Yeah, so by the way, he crushed it. No one had been out there. No one wants to go to see it. By the way, and it doesn't matter the territory. It's the person who goes there who's ready to work. Because that territory, he did over 250 grand. And the next year someone went there, you know how much they did? Less than 14 grand. All right. So someone could be like, I don't want to go to that territory, only did 14 grand. It actually did 250. And anybody can do that anywhere who's ready to go. And what did he do? He prepared himself. He had PRs ready to go. And by having the Facebook Jumpstart program done properly and adding people, you have people ready to go when it's time to open up shop. And the territories that no one's been in a while, I will tell you right now, are some of the best ones to go to because it's kind of been untapped. So it's like new to all ages, not just to your high school seniors, or whatever. So there's great everywhere. There's good pros and cons of everything. I went 4 hours away to a territory no one had been to, that no one wanted to go to. And guess what? I set the record and it still holds since 2003 there. Not a huge record. It's 146 grand. Gordon doubled me this summer in his branch, but no one else has done that there. All right. And I got PRs. I was super profitable because the territory I went to, everything was super cheap. So I was able to save a ton. Some of the smaller territories, just so you guys know, shit's super cheap. All right. Like, oh my gosh. I just totally blanked out. Veronica up in, we made a new territory for her up in like northern part of, I don't know, Rock. I don't know where the heck the name of it was. I have to look at it again. But it was like, I don't even know the city, but she went there. The place she got so cheap, what she paid for her rent. When Brandon, went to Brenham, he paid $500 for his whole summer for rent, while other people are paying $1,100 a month. So by the way, the person who paid $3,300 a month, he profited $2,700 more automatically by getting cheap space in his pocket. All right. So we're going to talk more about that as we get into January. Start looking at your territories, finding cheap office space. But can you negotiate? The lady that she loves Cutco. He paid for his summer rent with a signature set. and we bought it at manager's third, you know, like, so, and then some places are just really cheap. So that's what we want you guys to start looking at that February, March. Like, do you have options for offices already? Not start looking for office in April, and then you're delayed, and you don't maximize your summer, or you miss the first round of mailers. And I'm gonna have Philippe talk about that in December, and he can share, you know, what you should do and what he learned from, and not to follow his mistakes on some stuff there. Because you start early, you're in a better position, ready to go. All right. So anyway, I want to share that with you guys. We're going to be ready. So read through all of day one. Just read through it. Make some marks while you're on the plane. So number one, tomorrow, all of you guys print your freaking training. Go to Office Depot. Go to wherever. If you don't have a printer, do it at school. Print your training manual. Bring a training manual to Olean. Read through it at least one time through before you come. I would recommend more, but have it so you can write notes in it and be practicing it. You want to make sure you're getting day one down. Cool? And then again, day 2 is the next month, and we're going to hit that hard on December 15th because you guys are all running a training seminar during the holidays. So a big thing we're going to talk about in Olean is running your cycle and picking when you're going to run your training seminar. Every one of you is running at least one training seminar between December 15th and January 15th or January 12th. So everybody's going to be running training. Those of you guys who are local non-summer, you might have already ran yours, you'll run stuff after, but definitely the guys who are not home for school, you'll be rocking during that time. So we want to make sure you guys are ready to go execute because you're running a full seminar. All right. So I know we went a couple minutes over. I appreciate you guys kicking ass. I can't wait to see everyone in Olean this Thursday who's going to be there. We're going to miss those who are not there a ton, but dress warm. Wes Frank just landed in Olean. He got there tonight and he posted and he's like, and he's from Philadelphia, and he was like, oh shit, it is freezing. I was like, no. He goes, I just landed in Buffalo. Holy shit, it's cold. Like, that's literally what he posted. So be ready. It's freezing. It's like chilling, bone-chilling cold, and in the 30s. Some nights in the 20s. So be ready.
What email do I send it to? What email do I send the request for you?
golfcoastvector@gmail. Anything you need is to my golfcoastvector@gmail. All right?
Is it Olean